Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Naruto gets princess pregnant and leaves the island. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. The intern behind camera gave Chris a signal. Welcome back to Total Drama Island. He beamed, alright, it's time to meet our campers. We told them they'd all be staying at a 5-star resort. Chris chuckled, so if they seem to be pissed off, that's probably why. As if it was on a cue, the ship just pulled up as Chris turned to face the first camper with his infamous grin. What's up, Beth? The farmer girl suddenly tackles Chris with a squeal, causing him to give her a weird look. It's so incredulous to meet you. Beth blinked. Wow, you're much short in real life. Thanks? Chris muttered with raised eyebrow before glancing to see a giant Jamaican walking up to him with duffel bags and greeted him. DJ. Yo, Chris McLean, how's it going? DJ gave Chris a high five before glancing at the scene. Hey, you sure you got the right place here? Where's the hot tub at? DJ asked the host, only to hear him confirming that it was the right place. Look a lot different on form. He muttered, carrying his bags to other side of dock while glancing around. Hey, Gwen, the goth girl sighed. You mean we're staying here? Gwen jerked her head at the rundown cabins. Chris chuckled. Oh, yeah. By the way, my crib is this trailer with AC. I didn't sign up for that. She growled. Actually, you did. Chris smirked, proudly presenting the contact before Gwen grabbed it and tore it in half. Good thing about lawyer is that they make a lot of copies. Gwen growled again before picks up her bags. I'm not staying here. You sure? That mean you have to swim back since your boat just left. There was sound of boat honking as it left the island. Great. Gwen muttered with sarcasm as other boat pull up with a cowboy in pink shirt doing some kind of dance before he flipped off the boat. What's up, Chris? It's an honor to meet you, man. The cowboy greeted with fist bump. Jeff stir. Welcome to the island, man. Jeff grinned. Man. If they say, man, one more time, I'm gonna puke. Gwen whispered to DJ and Beth, earning some concerned looks from them. Chris looks at the dock again before introducing the new camper to other campers. Everyone, that is Lindsay. The blonde bombshell waved to everyone with a smile. Not too shabby, Chris whispered to the camera as Lindsay walked up to Chris. You look so familiar. Lindsay pointed at Chris as he grins at her. I'm Chris McLean. She blinked and stares at him with quizzical expression on her face. The host of this show? Oh, that's where I know you from. Yeah? Chris blinked with dumbfounded expression on his face as he stares at Lindsay walk to the group before muttering something about not bright. He turns around to see two teenagers stepped on the dock, Heather and Naruto. The queen bee and her childhood friend. Heather scoffed as she shoves Chris out of her way. This idiot is not my childhood friend. Look like she's on a warpath, he. Chris smirked as he turns to Naruto, looking over him. He stand at 5 feet 8 feet and wearing an orange t-shirt with red spiral on his chest and a blue jean over orange sneakers, which must be customized since Chris was sure that there was no orange sneakers to his knowledge, but what make him stand out was his spiky shoulder-length crimson hair, azure blue eyes and 3 lines on his cheeks like whiskers. Chris noticed that there was some kind of necklace on his neck, but it was hiding under his shirt. Yeah, it's how Heat-chan is, Datbayo. Naruto chuckled, rubbing his head as he picked up his orange duffel bags. This guy must really love orange, was what everyone besides Heather thinking as they look at him. Hope you will be on same team because I would hate to see what would happens between you two. Chris snickered, which I plan to do, he. Naruto blinks as he takes a glance at Chris before shrugging. I guess so. He walks up to the group, taking notice that the farmer ran up to Heather and spitting something to her, Hajimamashite. Naruto gave everyone a widened grin. DJ scratched his head, glancing at other campers. He was kind of great that he was not only one confusing about his greeting. I mean nice to meet you. Sorry, sometime my Japanese would slip up. Naruto chuckled. Oh, no worry, man. Jeff grinned at Naruto. The red-haired teenager was about to say something but a loud music cut him off as everyone looked at the source to see a punk standing on top of the speaker before leap off the boat. Duncan, dude. Chris greeted the punk. I don't like surprises. Duncan threatened with a scowl, palmed his fist. Yeah, your parole officer warned me about that, man. Chris chuckled. He also told me to give him a holler anytime and have you sent back to juvie. Duncan shrugged, rolling his eyes. Okay then. He picks up his bag and wink at Heather. Meet you by the campfire, gorgeous. Ew, I'll rather date the idiot. Heather thumbed at Naruto. Really, He-chan? Naruto blinked at her. Oh ye, hell no. Heather snarled as Naruto chuckled at her. I'm calling my parents now, Chris. You can't make me stay here. Chris grinned as he pulled out the contact and waved it around, meaning that she can't leave any time until it's about elimination. The ship shows up, pulling a skiing jock in red jumpsuit. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler. The said jock waved to everyone with one hand, but it caused him to have a wipeout and flew over the group's heads before landed into the suitcases. Everyone winced as they watch a suitcase flew into the air before splashing into the water, soaking Heather in process. Wicked wipeout. Chris shouted to the jock before Tyler gives a thumb up from under the piles. Hey, buddy, you alright? Naruto pulled Tyler out, getting a nod and smile from the jock. The host chuckled at the slight of soaking Heather before a heavy breath cut him off, glancing right behind him to see a nerd with some kind of keyboard. Welcome to camp, Harold. Chris grinned while thinking that he was creepy for breathing so hard on his neck. Who would do that, besides some of his fangirls? Harold stares blankly at Chris. That nerd is really starting to creeping him out. What's he looking at? Beth asked the campers, only to get shrugs and a few shivers. Chris hopes that Harold was not checking him out. You mean this show is at this crappy summer camp and not on some big stage? Harold questioned Chris. A nod was his reply. Yes. That's more favorable to my mad skills. I hope one of his skills is not jerking off in random place. Naruto muttered lowly, gaining some chuckle from the campers. And now contestant number 10, Trent. The host nods to the musician. Wish it was 9, whispered Trent. Hey, Chris, just saw you on that figure skating show. Nice work. I know I rock this show. Chris boasted as they pound fists. I saw that. Beth inputted. One of the guys dropped his partner on her head and they got immunity this week. Lucky. I wish I was dropped on my head. Harold said, earning a raised eyebrow from Naruto. Don't you have a plenty of these drops when you were a baby? He smirked. Hey. Harold sighed at Naruto before receiving a pat on back from the redhead. Sorry, Harold, I can't resist it. It's okay, I just walked into this one, I guess. Harold sighed again as Trent take his place next to Gwen before smile at her, causing the goth girl to turn away from him. Hey, what's up? Naruto blinked before look up to see a surfer girl walk up to Chris with her board. Wait, is that orange on her board? All right, our surfer chick, Bridget, is here. Yeah, nice board. Duncan scoffed. It aren't Malibu, honey. I thought we were going to be at beach. Bridget asked. Chris points at the polluted beach with a grin. We are. Oh, poor seagull. Naruto stares at the seagull that somehow gets stuck with plastic soda holders before the water pull the bird away from the beach. Great. Bridget seems to be disappointed after seeing the polluted beach before bend down to pick up her bag, unawake that she just hit the host in head with her board. Ow, darn it, that hurt. Chris groaned, rubbing his sore head. I hope it doesn't bruise. My poor pretty face. Hi, I'm Jeff. Jeff greeted Bridget with eagerness in his tone as Bridget turned to him, swinging the board. It was lucky that the boys duck under it. Watch the board. Harold whined. Hi, I'm Beth. The farmer waved as the campers ducks again. You really have an awesome board. Naruto chuckled. It was kind of fun to see everyone ducking under Bridget's board and she never even noticed. Bridget smiled. I also like your dyed hair. Naruto blinked before rubbing his head with chuckle. Actually, it's my natural color. As soon as he said that, everyone blinked before turned to him. Seriously? I never have ever seen an Asian with natural crimson hair. Gwen raised one of her eyebrows. DJ nods his head behind the goth girl. It's true. He got it from his mother. Heather deadpanned. She is starting to get tired of telling people that Naruto's red hair is natural. Well, I still think it's awesome. Bridget smirked at Naruto. I agree with her. Lindsay waves her hand in air. Okay. Now we met the surfer girl and confirmed Naruto's natural color. Can we please get on with the show? Heather growled, squeezing the water out of her hair. Did someone miss their double cappuccino macchiato this morning? Duncan smirked as Harold snickered. Yeah, she did. Kind of my fault? Duncan slowly turns to Naruto with widened eyes. Seriously? I was joking. Wow. Idiot, stop telling them things. Heather growled, holding up her hands as if she wants to strangle someone's neck. The host winced as he touched his head. He just missed something that the campers was talking and he hoped that someone got it on camera. What if it was a drama? Our next camper is Noah. You got my memo about my allergies? The bookworm asked the host. I'm sure someone did. He already got it, but he tosses it in the trash can just before the show. Wonderful, Noah said sarcastically. Is that where we will stay at? No, it's your mother's place and we're throwing a party. Duncan palmed his fist. Unnoticed to everyone, Naruto was about to say something, only to end up getting slapped upside the head by Heather. Cute. Nice piercings, original. Did you do it yourself? Noah deadpanned before Duncan grabs his lips with his hand. Yeah, you want one? No thank, can I have my lips back, please? Duncan released him with a grin. Thank. What's up, y'all? Lashana's in the house. Everyone look up to see a black teenager waving at them and they can hear Harold gasping at her. Hey baby, how you do? She give Chris a high five. Feel free to quit now and save yourselves troubles. She teased the campers as the campers chuckled at her jokes. Give me some sugars, brother. Lashana raised her hand to DJ as he replied back with high five. I've never seen a girl like you in my life before. Harold bubbled. Excuse me? You're real big and loud. What did you just said to me? I'll get the shovel. Naruto whispered to Noah. The bookworm smirked as everyone winced at Lashana yelling at Harold before Bridget and DJ hold Lashana back. Hee, we got a drama going on. Chris chuckled, rubbing his hands. He can smell the paychecks coming in, but he'd better stop them since they were going to waste the time and save drama for later. Settle down, campers. Save it for later. The host shouted at them. Lashana huffed as she glared at Harold while fixing herself up. Chris walks up to two new campers in matching clothes. Ladies. Katie, Sadie, welcome to your new home for 8 weeks. Oh, my gosh. Look, it's a summer camp. Katie gushed to Sadie. I always wanted to go to summer camp. Which one are Katie and Sadie? Naruto asked Trent. I'm not sure. He responded with a shrug. Chris rubbed his head before noticing the homeschooled farmer, Ezekiel. What's up, man? I think I see a bird, Trent snickered as everyone looked at Ezekiel with puzzled expression. Dude, I know you're homeschooled whole your life and don't get out much, but please don't say too much, okay? Ezekiel nodded with smile. For the first time, I worry about a teenager. That's just, wow? Gwen shook her head, dumbfounded. Cody, the code stir. Cody flashed his gap grin as they high-fived. Psyche to be here, man. He strolls up to the female campers. I see the ladies have already arrived. He winked at them and everyone rolled their eyes. Cody turns around to say something to Lashana, but the sassy girl placed her finger on his lips. Save it, short stuff. Cody grinned at her before taking his place. Eva, nice to see you here. The bodybuilder girl ignored her host and walked up to the camper with scowl. Cody decided to give her a high five, only to get her bag on his feet as he yelped. What's inside? Dumbbells? He whined. Yes, you really like to work out? Naruto blinks, watching Cody hopping on one foot. Yes. Woman of few words? Yes. Duncan glances to DJ, she's all yours. Woo-hoo. Everyone jumped at the booming voice and turned to see the large teenager. Chris, what's happening, buddy? He giggled to himself, that is so awesome. Woo-hoo. Owen, welcome. The host greeted before he was grabbed into a bear hug. So awesome to be here, man. Owen tightened his hug. Yeah, man, that is just so. Owen paused, trying to figure out what to say. Awesome? Gwen smiled at him. Yes, awesome. Woo-hoo. Are you going to be on my team? Oh, I sure hope so. Gwen muttered with sarcasm tone, rolling her eyes. Woo-hoo. This guy is cool. Naruto grinned. Are you almost done? Chris stared at Owen before the large boy put him back on ground, just in time to see Courtney. He pointed at the ship with the said girl who was waving at the group. Thank you. Courtney take Chris's hand and stepped down before make her way to the group. Hi, you must be the other contestants. It's really nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you, I'm Owen. He grabbed Courtney's hand and shakes it in his excitement. It's also nice to meet you. Oh, wow. She trailed out, dropping her jaw at the upcoming camper. Everyone was in awe because the camper was really handsome that he would pass as a supermodel. This is Justin. Chris introduced him to the group. Just to let you know, we just pick you based on your look. Justin smirked at him. I can live with that. I like your pant. Owen pointed at Justin's jean. Thanks. Because they look like they're all worn out. Did you buy them like that? No, just had them for a while. Oh, Owen facepalm, stupid. Hey, everyone, Izzy. Naruto blinks, she have orange hair, is it dyed or natural? Hi, Chris. She waved before slipped off the ship and hit her chin on the dock. Ouch, that's bad wipeout. Tyler laughed and Courtney ran up to her but Naruto beat her there and picked Izzy up. You're alright? Naruto asked, watching Izzy shook her head. Yeah, that felt so good, besides hitting my chin. I'll say, maybe you'll get a bruise or not. Courtney said as Izzy grinned at them. So that is summer camp? Do you have papier-mâché here or lunch? That is good call. We need lunch. Owen perked at the mention of foods. First thing, we have to get a group photo for a promo. Chris chuckled, everyone on the end of this dock. With that, the campers gather at the end of dock and take their positions. Naruto stand right next to Heather with good guy pose. The host leap on the ship with camera. Okay, 1, 2, whoops, forget the lens cap. Now hold that pose, hang on, card filled. Oh come on, Lashana muttered, my face is starting to freeze. Everyone say, Wawanakwa, Wawanaka, whoa? Everyone cried out as the dock break down, sending them into the water. Okay, guys, dry off and meet at the campfire pit in 10. Campfire. That is Camp Wawanakwa, your home for the next 8 weeks. Chris waved at the scene. The campers sitting around you will be your cabin mates, competition, and maybe even your friends. The campers glance at each other, you dig? The camper who manages to stay on Total Drama Island the longest without getting vote off will win $100,000. Excuse me, Duncan smirked. What will the sleeping arrangements will be, because I'd like to request a bunk under her. He thumbed at Heather. Heather gasped in disgust, they're not co-ed, are they? No. The host shook his head, girls get one side of each cabin and dudes get the other. Good thing since he's not your type. Naruto chuckled, ruffling Heather's head. The queen bee slapped his hand away, idiot, don't mess with my hair. We're on nationwide show. Gomen, Gomen. Naruto grinned, rubbing his head. Excuse me, Kyle? Lindsay raised her hand. Can I have a cabin with a lake view since I'm the prettiest? Yeah, but that's not really how it works here. Chris sighed, and it's Chris. But I have to be with Sadie or I'll die. Yeah, and I'll break out in hive. It's true. That cannot be happening. Gwen groaned before Owen grabs her and Tyler in headlock. Aw come on, guys. It'll be fun. Like sleepover. I agree with big fella. Naruto chuckled, patting Owen's back, well beside the sleepover part. At least you don't have to sleep next to him. Tyler whispered to Gwen, nodding to Duncan holding a deer in headlock as he grinding his fist on the head. Originally I was going to split you in 2 teams but we have odd number of campers so guess what? All of the campers shake their heads and synchronize, we are going to have a challenge right now. One of you will get instant elimination, which would even up the numbers of campers. What? Everyone cried before Courtney stands up with scowl, but we just got here. Too bad. He sing-song, now for our first challenge, it's going to be. Chris pulls out a black ball behind his back. The competitors can see that there was some kind of timer on the top of the ball. Paint bomb tag. The rules are similar, the person who hold this ball is the it, he tossed the ball up and down, there will be no tag backs, the new it had to freeze for 10 seconds, there are no safe zones, with me so far? The host paused to make sure that everyone understands, as you see, this ball have a timer, which is the exact number of time limit and it will exploded at the end and the loser will be covered in paint. The eliminated camper will have to walk down the dock of shame, no shower at all. No shower? Beth gulped, that would be so humiliated to go out on the first day like that. So, anyone want to be it? Chris wiggled his eyebrows, by the way, it is 1 hour time limit. No one said anything unless someone speak up, I'll do it. Thank, Naruto. I'm glad that you step up. The ball soared over everyone's head and landed in the redhead's hands. Push the button on the timer to start the game on my command. Got it, Datbayo. Get ready. The campers scrambled, set. Naruto smirked, his finger hover over the button, tag. Timer. 1 hour. Can't wait to see someone gets a new coat of paint. Naruto laughed, walked off to find the hiding campers. He decided to check out the boathouse since it's close to the campfire, maybe some of campers would be there. Tyler. The jock was emptying the large box before diving into the box, placing the lid over his head, leaving a small gap. The game is so mine. Tyler laughed, only to cut off as the lid lifted to reveal Naruto staring back at him. How? Boathouse was close, that and you were laughing so loud. Naruto handed the ball to Tyler before taking off. Sorry buddy. It's cool, man. The jock sighed as he rubbing his chin, try to figure out which place to check out for any hiders. Harold. The nerd decided to take a refuge in a bathroom, using one of the stall. This is a perfect spot, no one would find me here. Harold snickered to himself before the stall door opened. Ag. The person turns out to be Duncan and Harold was kind of relieved that he doesn't have the ball with him. Duncan smirked at him. Well, that's not a bad spot. Mind giving it to me? Harold crossed his arms with narrowed eyes. No way, Duncan. Go find another place, gosh. The punk's smirk became a grin before he grabbed Harold's collar and pulled him up close, nose to nose. Want to reconsider it? Duncan holds up his fist. Yeah, he. Harold chuckled nervously before Duncan tossed him out of the stall, slamming the door on Harold's back. Gosh, that was my spot in first place. He sighed before run out of the bathroom to find another hiding spot. Timer. 52 minutes. Tyler gulped as he glances at the timer, running up to one of the cabins. Early, he saw one of the campers rushed into the cabin before chose the boathouse and he hoped that the camper was still there. As soon as the jock gets closer to the door, he tripped on the step and barreled into the door, slammed upon the floor. Ouch. That'll leave a mark. Tyler groaned before look up to see concerning DJ, are you alright? The giant asked, only to get a ball. He blinked once, twice, and third time before groaned, oh man. The jock gets up with another groan before run off while shouting his apology to DJ. Hey, why did Tyler take off? Harold muttered, checking inside the cabin only to see DJ with ball. Never mind. The nerd quickly disappeared before DJ has any chance to tag him. Izzy humming, swinging her legs as she scanned the ground from her seat in the tree. She blinked, notice a redhead, Naruto, start to climb up a tree in front of her. Izzy grabbed the vine and grinned before swing into his tree. Huh? Naruto blinks as he felt something flew past his head before look up to see a hand reaching out to him and pull him up. Whoa, hiya. Izzy giggled. Oh, Izzy, right? The crazy girl nodded and Naruto grinned at her, you scared me. Thank for the help. No problem. Izzy stared at him, making him little uncomfortable. He rubbed his head for a while before Izzy speak up. Are your whiskers tattoo or scar? Oh, nah. It's my birthmarks, something that might caw. Izzy's hand on his cheek cut him off, start to rubbing them and the result was something that makes Izzy more excited. You just. Naruto swatted her hand away lightly with red face. No, I didn't purr at all. He purred again before hold her back, don't. She kept giggling and attempting to rub them again. Duncan. The punk scowled as he scanned the area, juggling the ball in his hand. The next time he see that dweeb, he'll give him a piece of his mind, meaning his fist. Somehow DJ managed to tag Harold after a while, then this nerd just come back to his hiding spot and tagged him. It really took him aback, gave Harold a chance to run off before Duncan think of hit him. That sucks. He growled, tightening his grip on the ball. Timer. 41 minutes. Gwen. Somewhere in the woods, Gwen was crouching inside a bush. She sighed before stiffened as she hear a sound of footsteps getting closing. Who would it be? Slowly the goth peek out and sighed. It was just this blonde girl, Lindsay if she recall. Shall I just tell her that she kept running in a circle? Gwen whispered to herself before shrugged. Nah, I'm sure she would figure it out. She was wrong and has to watch Lindsay run around for the rest of time. Duncan. See ya. Duncan chuckled, walk away from the new it. Wonderful, I'm so happy that I'm it now. The bookworm shot back, glared at Duncan's back as he retreated to whatever he come from. Maybe he won't have decided to hide behind that boulder to read his book. Noah sighed before wandering around, taking his time and making plans in his head. If he decides to wait until the last minute and hand it to someone, this person will be out right away because of no tag back rule and he have a lot of time to kill, according to the timer. After another glance, correction, he had to find someone soon. Timer. 29 minutes. Cody and Trent. The duo was hiding right behind the Arts and Crafts Center building and was chatting about music and what kind they enjoy. Really? Never pegged you for a fan of classical music. No offense, Cody. Yeah, it's okay. I really never understand why everyone would ever think that I'm into electronic music, it's not this good. Heather. The queen bee was filing her nails without any worries. She was sitting on top of the sink in the communal bathroom and glanced at the door to make sure that it's still locked. What if someone have skill to pick a lock like Naruto always does when he pulls some of pranks? The idiot better not get himself kick off. She blows her hair up. I need him for the alliance since he's more useful than anyone here. She snapped out of her thought at the sound of doorknob jiggled. Hey, let me in. Heather raised her eyebrow at the voice. It sounded like that fatty before resuming her filing. Aw, Heather blinked. I'm it now? But I'm so bad at it. Oh, did that fatty get tagged by someone? Oh well. Outside the bathroom, Owen pouting as Noah pats his back. If it helps, I noticed some campers hiding over there in the main camp, where the cafeteria would be. Noah offered, feeling little bad for Owen since it seems that he is nice guy. Thank, little buddy. The lovable oaf give Noah a bear hug before rush toward the cafeteria. I think my ribs just cracked a little. The bookworm groaned. Owen really don't know his strength at all. Noah rolls his eyes. Again, everyone on this island are living example of stereotype. Bridget, Eva, Courtney, and Ezekiel. The girls growled at Ezekiel as Eva grabbed Ezekiel's neck. What did you just said? The reason why the girls were mad at Ezekiel right now is because he just made some comment and it doesn't sit well with them. Tell me, what did you just said? I just said that it's good that you have me protecting you since girls are weak, Eva growled. Pa said that I have to watch out for the girls since they need a lot of help, Courtney joined Eva, plus, boys are smarter than girls so we have to help you a lot. Bridget growled as she opened the door. Toss him out. The surfer gritted her teeth and Eva smirked before throw him out, slamming the door as Ezekiel skidded on the ground before stop in front of someone's feet. Slowly, he looks up to see Owen with the ball. Sorry? The oaf chuckled nervously as he placed the ball in Ezekiel's hand before darting off as if a devil was chasing him. Why is he screaming? The homeschooled boy takes a good look at the timer and widened his eyes. Timer. 10 seconds. A flashback went off in his head. Line equals. Chris tossed the ball up and down. The new, have to freeze for 10 seconds. Line equals. Suddenly everything was in slow motion. Ezekiel gulped slowly. 9. Owen kept screaming as he run. 8. The girls in the cafeteria duck under the table. 7. Heather checks her nails for any dirt, ignoring the scream of the campers. 6. Chris takes a sip out of his coconut drink as he smiled, watching the scene unfolded with his binocular. 5. DJ peeked out of the cabin with Lashana and Beth before duck back inside. 4. Gwen gives another sigh, feeling a little bad that she don't tell Lindsay that she was still running in circle. 3. Ezekiel takes a deep breath. Naruto. Did you hear it? Jeff and Justin turned to Naruto with puzzling expression. I swear it sounded like someone screaming. Did the paint bomb just BOOM? They dropped their jaws, watching a huge pillar of multicolored paint shot up in air in the distance before it splashed back. Awesome, Databeo. Naruto laughed, drawing their attention before joining him in laughter. My. Chris shakes his head. Ezekiel, only if you don't say anything, you won't be out of the game, but you just did. Ezekiel sighed, attempting to wipe the paint off his face. Service him right, Courtney muttered, crossing her arms in front. Now, since it is instant elimination challenge and you lost, that mean you have to take a walk down the dock of shame. Can I take a shower before I go, no. Chris drawled, don't want you to track paints all over my island, and why would you waste a good coat? He snickered, earning another sigh from the prairie boy. Dock of shame. Ezekiel sighed in dejection as he walked up to the boat and take his seat. Everyone watched the ship take off and disappear into the horizon. Campfire. Was it fun for you guys? Did you just have a taste of the challenge? Chris asked the campers and speaks up as he pulls up a clipboard. Don't answer. Now we're gonna dispute you into 2 teams since we have even numbers now. Idiot, if we're on same team, you better be in alliance with me. Heather whispered to Naruto, don't worry, He-chan. She nodded before snarled silently, realizing that he just called her with nickname. If I call your name out, go stand over there. Chris gesturing at the right side of the campfire before calls them out. Gwen, Noah, Lashana, Heather, Jeff, Harold, Lindsay, Beth, Trent, Sadie, and Izzy. Everyone stand up, never noticed that Heather's eyes widened. The host did not call Idiot's name, which means he's on the other team. You are officially known as. He paused, swipe his hand in air as if he was posting something, the Screaming Gophers. It's so amazing, gosh. Harold grinned as he takes a look at their green flag. Wait, what about Katie? Sadie gasped in horror, but Chris ignored her. The rest of you, over here. He pointed at his left and calls them out by their names: Bridget, Justin, Naruto, Eva, DJ, Duncan, Tyler, Courtney, Katie, Owen, and Cody. He waited as the rest take their place. But Sadie is a gopher. I want to be gopher. Katie cried. There, Katie, is it? Come on. Country escorts Katie to their group. It'll be okay. It is so unfair. Katie sobbed. I'll miss you, Sadie. I miss you too. They must be really close, Naruto guessed. It was kind of same with Heather, but knowing her, she will never admit it at all because she have her pride or something like that. Chris tossed them a red flag. You guys will officially be known as. Owen grabs it and unfurled it, the killer base. Woohoo, I'm a base. Owen cheered, grabs everyone in a group bear hug with a huge grin on his face. Naruto blinked. Did you give us red flag on purpose since I have red hair? Nah, just a coincidence. Somehow Naruto don't believe Chris because his eyes just shifting side to side. Alright, campers. I'm not sure if I already told you that, but you and your team will be on camera in all public areas during the competition and confession. Everyone blinks. Confession? Confession. You'll also be able to share your innermost thoughts or make video diaries anytime you want to. Chris grinned at the camera inside the outhouse as the flies flew around him. Let the audience at home know what you're really thinking, or just get something off your chest. Static. Okay? Gwen deadpanned. So far this sucks. Static. I don't get it. Linde stand in front of camera with her back facing it. Where's the camera guy? Static. Honestly, I'm not really in for money. Naruto lick his lips and scratching his head. He-chan kind of forced me to sign up and well, I also have my reason for coming here. Static. Somehow a duck was putting on a pink lipstick and quacks at the camera. Static. Hey guys, check that out. I have something important to say. Owen placed his hands on his hip before farted loudly. He giggled to himself. Alright, any questions? One of them raised their hand. No? Cool. Let's find your cabins. The host clapped his hands, lending them to the cabins. Cabins. Gophers, you're in East Cabin. Chris point at the East Cabin. Base, you're in the West. Grab your stuff and settle in. The teams walk to their cabins as Chris watches them. After entering the male side of cabin, Naruto take a good look around before walk to one of the bunk beds at the back of the room before asking his male teammates, who's going to bunk with me and which one would you like? Is it cool with you if I take the bottom? DJ asked with gentle smile and Naruto nodded as he tossed his bags on top bed. Hi, it's cool with me, DJ, right? That's right. Nah, Naruto, did I say it right? The gentle giant find it little harder to say his name since it's something that he never heard it before and worried that he may get it wrong, but his concern was erased after Naruto give him a nod with grin. Want to talk to guys, getting know each other since we're going to see each other a lot? DJ agreed with Naruto after placing his bags on his bed. As soon as they walk out to talk to the teammates, Naruto turned his head around before asking, where's this little guy, Cody? Cody flew past them before landed on the ground with a thump. Geek decided to hit on Chicks and Gopher's cabin. He just walked inside their room. Duncan chortled, watching Cody pick himself up. Courtney was about to say something but a loud cry cut her off before everyone glanced to see Lindsay wailing for some reasons. I'm glad we're in our own cabin with just guys. You know what I mean? Owen chuckled as the boys starting to give him a look. I mean no, I didn't mean like that. He stammered, I love chicks. I just don't want to sleep near them. No, I mean. Right. Duncan rolled his eyes. Excuse me, Chris. Jeff shouts out to the host with a wave. Is there a chaperone of any kind in this facility? You're all 16. Chris looked little nervous for some reason. As old as a counselor in training at a regular summer camp. He grinned, so other than myself, you'll be unsupervised. Actually, we are. Isn't that what cameras are for? Naruto raised his eyebrow and Chris muttered something about wise ass. Anyway, you've got a half an hour to unpack and meet me back at the main lodge starting now. Chris turns around and went to the main lodge to talk to his coworker and get things ready. It wasn't long enough until Lindsay screamed in terror within the gopher's cabin, startled everyone before they take a look inside to see her standing on the chair, pointing at a roach scurrying around. "Oh man, that white girl can scream," Lashana said before the roach crawled toward DJ, draw an unmanly scream. He jumped into one of the bunk bed and breaks it by accident. "That was my bed." Gwen deadpanned, "Can't believe it. It's official, the universe must hate her right now." The rest of campers stomp around, trying to kill the bug before Naruto quickly catch it in his hands and smiled at the roach. "Come on, guys, don't be cruel to little fella." He lightly pets the bug's back. "Poor guy was just curious, I'll release him outside." "But it's gross." Beth shivered. "Maybe, but it is alive. Let me know if you find any bugs, I'll just catch and release them outside." Naruto smiled, "Walk outside and put the roach on ground gently." "Here you go, fella." The roach crawled off his hand before turn around. Everyone blinks as it rubbed its shell on his hand with a purring before ran away. Did this roach just purred? Noah blinks, he know that bugs don't purring at all. What the hell is that? Naruto chuckled before looked to see Duncan with axe. It would be overkill if he doesn't get roach in time. "Sorry, bud, maybe next time." He chuckled, patting Duncan's shoulder as he walked back to his cabin to unpack his stuffs. Duncan shrugged, he doesn't mind it as long as he has to keep this sweet axe that he stole, borrowed, found. Okay, he just stole it. Main lodge. "Listen up, I serve it 3 times a day," the chef shouted at the teenagers. Early Chris introduced the camper to Chef Hatchet and some of campers was little afraid of him. Chef roared at them, "And you'll eat it 3 times a day. Grab your tray, get your food, and sit your asses down now." "Excuse me," Beth stuttered, "will we be getting all the major food groups?" Chef ignored them as he scooped the foods into their tray before Harold speak up. "Yeah, 'cause I get hypoglycemic real bad." Chef's eyes twitched once, "If I don't get enough sugar. You get a lot of shut the heck up." The chef roared in Harold's face, sent him running to the table in fear. Why does he have to cook for the damned kids? They kept whining about his foods. Owen whispered to Noah with smirk, "Have a cow." "What was that?" Chef snarled and beckoning him over, "Come closer, fat boy. I can't hear you." I didn't really say anything important." Owen nervously chuckled, grabbing his tray. "It's better to have something to eat than nothing." "I'm sure you didn't." Chef growled before ordering Noah, "And you scrawny kid. Give me your plate." He dropped another scoop of food, only to have it jump back in his scooper. He growled, whacked it down before Noah walked off with weird look at his food. "That's impossible, food can't be sentient, can they?" Noah gulped, he swear that the food just growled at him. Next, Naruto take his tray and give Chef a cheesy grin. The cooker dropped the foods into the redhead's plate. "Thank, Chef." Confession. Finally, someone with respect. Chef grunted, crossing his arms. "Do you know how rare it is to find a teenager who actually respect and eat my foods without making any complaints about my cooking?" He sighed, rolled his eyes. "I think my food just moved." Gwen stared at her food before Chef mashed it with blank look on his face, right. Meanwhile, the killer base team stares at Naruto eating his foods without hesitation. Hell, Owen really hesitated to take a bite out of the mystery meat. He blinks, finally noticing their widened eyes and asked, "What? Do I have something on my face? Aren't you worried about eating those foods?" Cody poked his food with fork, only to have it eat the fork. Nope." Naruto chuckled and grinned at them. "Nah, they're really good. I really like it." He takes another bite, ignoring the faces of his teammates turn little green. How the hell does he like it? I guess he don't have taste bud. Courtney muttered before their host walked inside the main lodge. "Welcome to main lodge." The host smirked, placing his arms behind. "Yo, my man." Jeff looked up from his tray, "Can we order a pizza?" A cleaver flew past Geoff's head and cut into the doorway above Chris's head. "Whoa, it's cool, gee. Brown slop is cool." The party boy cried as Chef growled, causing most of campers cower. Chris chuckled, "Your next challenge begins in 1 hour. Another one? But we just had one early." Lashana stood up. "So?" Chris smirked before turn on his heels and walk out. "What do you think they'll make us do?" Katie whined. DJ placed his hand on her shoulder. "Don't worry, I'm sure it won't be bad. Maybe it's going to be a relaxing challenge." The teams found themselves on top of a tallest cliff that loomed over the lake. "Oh, fuck," No one know who said it, but it was good thing that there will be editor to censor the cussing out. Chris really wishes that they would leave it there, but no, the producers want it to be PG. Today's challenge is threefold. Chris clapped his hands to get their attention. Your first task is to jump off this. He pointed the edge of cliff, 1,000-foot high cliff into lake. Piece of cake. Bridget whispered to Tyler and Naruto. If you look down, you will see two target areas. Everyone did look down. There was one wide arc of water buoy rope with a small circle, also made by water buoy rope. The wider area represents the part of the lake that we had stocked with psychotic. A shark leap out of water with a snarl, man-eating sharks. Is that legal? Naruto muttered to himself. Chris continued his explanation. Inside that area is a safe zone. That's your target area, which, we're pretty sure is shark-free. He ignored Lashana's plead. For each member of your team that jumps and actually survives, there will be a crate of supplies waiting below. The camera zoomed to crates on the lakeshore. Inside each crates are supplies that you'll need for the second part of challenge. Chris throws his arms in air, building a hot tub. The team with the best one gets to have a wicked hot tub party tonight. The losers will have no hot tub. It's a reward challenge, which means no one will be kicked out this round. Why can't we kick off someone? Lindsay tilted her head. Because we already did early and it won't bring us a good rating if we kept kick people out in one day. Chris grunted, wish he can kick a lot of people out for fun. Anyway, the killer bass, you're up first. Oh wow. Bridget peeked over the cliff to see how far it is, so, who wants to go first? She asked with a smile. No one said anything until Naruto stepped up with a grin. I would go unless you want to. He can hear Owen telling them that it's cool since the reality show always tests any stunts with their interns. If that's cool with you, I like to go first. Naruto nodded as Bridget looked at his black t-shirt over his orange-red board short. Aren't you going to take the shirt off since it will get wet? Naruto make a small wince that no one even noticed. I like to have shirt on when I go swim. He replied and Bridget shrugged. See you at bottom. She smiled at him before turned to the teams with frown. It's really no big deal, just an insane dive into a circle of angry sharks. She takes a dive as everyone ran up and looks at her diving into the safety zone. Bridget come out and waved to everyone, showing that she was fine. My turn, dat bayo. Naruto ran and jumped off the cliff with cry, cannonball. Idiot, Heather mumbled, not even worried about Naruto's safety. The said boy landed in the safety zone with large splash before his head shoot up from the water. That was fun. Naruto turned to the sharks before call out to them. Hey sharks. Mind gives me a ride to the lakeshore. I'll give you some meats to eat if you like. What, are you crazy? They're psycho. Man-eating sharks. The teams cried out in unison, only to stand in shock as one of the sharks swam up to Naruto and bring him to the shore, holding on the fin. Fin. Naruto rubbed the shark's back. Will any kind of meat be fine with you? Confession. I'm not going to make any comment about that. Noah muttered with blank expression. Static. He even named this shark. Gwen deadpanned. Static. Is it me or did this shark purr? Since when they can purr? Justin blinks, unsure if he just imagined it before adoring himself in mirror. Everyone turned to Heather since she's his childhood friend and hopes she will answer their question. I stopped trying to figure him out years ago, was all Heather can say. Tyler shook his head, clearing up the shock and said, I'm going next. He took a few steps back and ran off the cliff, cowabunga. Oh, Bridget and Naruto groaned, witnessing Tyler's body clashed with one of the buoy's tower before he slid down into the safety zone. One by one, Duncan, Eva, and Cody dived and made it to the safety zone. DJ stares at the lake with fear written on his face. No way, man, he gulped, take a step back. Not even going to jump. Scared of height? Chris smirked at DJ. Yeah, ever since I was a kid. That's okay, big guy. Chris walks up to the giant and putted a chicken hat on DJ's head. Unfortunately, that also make you a chicken. You'll have to wear this for the rest of the day. Aw, man, for real? Bok. Chris clucked, that mean a chicken path is this way. He pointed at the escalator that mysteriously appeared on the cliffside. DJ sighed as he rides it down. Excuse me, Chris, I have a medical condition. What condition, Courtney? He never heard anything about her having medical condition. A condition that prevents me from jumping off cliffs. You can chicken out if you want to. Chris smirked at her as he checking his nails. but it might end up costing your team the victory. And then they'll hate you. It's a calculated risk. Courtney gazed at the Gophers. I've seen the other team and I don't think most of them will jump. Alright, here's your chicken head. The host chuckled before turned to the remaining base teammates. So who want to go next? I'm not jumping without Katie. Sadie cried. We have to be on same team. Katie cried with her before get up closer to Chris' face, please. Can we be on same team? Can we? Can we? Can we? Can we? Can we? They chanted together. Oh, for the love of, fine? A loud squeal almost deafened him. Who want to switch? He cleans his ear with Pinky. I'll switch places with her. Izzy raised her hand and Chris nodded, writing it down on his clipboard. Sadie, you're Gopher and Izzy, you're base now. Izzy grinned before dived into the safety zone. Did she switch place with Sadie? Duncan said to Naruto and he gives a little nod with unsure expression on his face. Now, Justin? The model smirked before dived but landed in dangerous zone. Everyone screamed as the sharks zoomed into Justin but they stopped and take a good look at him. Justin smiled at them and they fall in love with his look. One of them carries him to the shore. Wow, his handsome really come in handy. Chris chuckled before turned to Owen. Now, will you jump or chicken out? Maybe your jump will bring them win, no pressure, man. The large boy gulped before put on his water floaters. The killer base team cheered him on as he inched closer to the edge. He takes a deep breath before closed his eyes. Confession. Owen gulped, look at the corner. See, the thing is, I'm not that strong a swimmer. Static. Jeff smirked at the camera. I looked at this guy and thinking, there's no way he's going to make it. Static. Bridget rubbed her arm. I was really worried about Owen, I thought he gonna die. Owen walk a few meters back. Take a good run at it, buddy. You can do it. It was really surprised that Chris was encouraging him on. I'm going to die now, I'm going to freaking die now. He takes a deep breath and screaming on top of his lungs as he ran up to the edge and jump off with a scream, oh crap. Owen landed in the safety zone, causing a huge wave that knocked the killer base team down and some sharks landed in Naruto's arms. Fin, Fang, and Jaw, are you alright? Naruto asked them, only to have them shivering in fear of their near-death expression. Break time until we get the sharks calmed down and have them back in the lake. Chris blinks at the sight. And we're back. Chris grinned before he turns to the screaming Gophers team, now it's your turn to jump. We'll throw in a pull cart to put your crates on. Nice. Trent grinned a small grin. Okay, guys, who's up first? Us. Katie and Sadie chanted before they ran off the cliff, holding their hands and landed in the safety zone. I'm sorry, there's no way I'm doing this. Heather crossed her arms with her nose in air. Why not? Beth asked. Hello, Nation TV? I'll get my hair wet. You're kidding, right? Gwen asked, not believing what the queen bee just said. If she's not doing it, I'm not doing it. Lindsay said, looking in Heather's eyes. Possible alliance. Heather smirked in her thought, only to snap out of it as Lashana growled to her. Oh, you're doing it. Says who? Says me. I'm not losing this challenge cause you got your hair day, you spoiled little daddy's girl. Noah smirked, seemed to be amused by their fight. The boys gulped as Lindsay stepped back in fear. Back off, ghetto glamour, too tight pants wearing, rap star wannabe. The girls gasped. Mall shopping, ponytail wearing, teen girl reading, peeking in high school prom queen. Lashana shot back. Well, at least I'm popular. Heather smirked. Oh snap. Everyone gasped, watching them fighting. You're jumping. Make me. Lashana decided to do what she said and pick her up before throw her down. Watching her landed in safety zone. Lashana, you are so dead. Hey, I threw you into the safe zone, didn't I? Lashana shout back before whisper to herself. Now I just hope I can hit it too. She jumped off with a scream and landed next to Heather in safety zone. Lindsay glanced at Chris. I thought this was going to be a talent contest. Yeah? The host laughed. No. Okay. Lindsay gulped before dive with a scream, making it to safety zone. Gwen also joined her before Jeff jumps, swinging his hat around and wooing. Both of them made it to the safety zone. I can't do it. Beth looked nervously at Chris. I'm too scared. The host pulls out chicken head. I'm sorry. She cried to her teammates. This is, like, so lame, right? Lindsay turns to Heather with smile. Fully lame. Heather agreed with her before someone call out to her, ruffling her hair in process. Oh, He-chan, did you make friends? I'm proud of you. Idiot. How many times do I tell you to not to? Heather swatted his hand away as he chuckled. His eyes glanced to Lindsay and gave her a smile. Lindsay, was it? The blonde bombshell nodded with smile. I'm glad that you're friend with her. I know she can be very tsunere, so please get along with her. I'm not tsunere, she cried out with red face. Yeah, I will, Nate. Lindsay nodded again with smile. Ha ha ha, it's Naruto. See you two later, I have to go back to my team. He waved at them before go back. Hannah, what's tsunere? Lindsay blinked but Heather doesn't even answer her question at all. They both turned back to see that Noah and Trent already jump off and made it safe. Okay, campers, there's only one person left. Chris nudged Harold, you guys need this jump for the win. Harold gulped, I can do it, gosh. The nerd rubs his neck, peeking over the cliff and don't even hear his team cheering while other team eggs him on to chicken out. Okay, I'm going to jump now. Good luck. Chris chuckled, watching Harold ran and jump off with cheer. Shouldn't he keep his legs together because... Naruto attempted to say before winced as Harold landed on his family jewelries with a high-pitched scream that make all males to winced, feeling the phantom pains. The sharks also winced. Oh, hate to see that happen. Chris chuckled, taking pleasure in witnessing the nerd's pain. But the winner is screaming Gophers. The said team cheered. Harold also gives a weak cheer as he holds his crotch. The killer base team watches on as the Gophers loaded their crates on the pull carts and walked back to their cabins, singing about something. Ow, I think I just got a splinter. Courtney winced in pain as Eve walked up to her and picked her crate up, scared Courtney. Shut up and pick up your crate. Eve slammed it down, chicken. Hey, I'm the only one here with CIT camping experience here, you need me. Meanwhile, Bridget struggled with her crate before someone asked her from behind, need help? Oh, Naruto? She blinked, it sounded like Naruto before she nodded, yeah. She turns to him, only to stares at him wide-eyed eyes. He was holding up 2 crates while balancing the third one on his head. On second thought, it would be harder on you so I would do it. No worries, I'll put one of the crates on your crates and we'll push them together, cool with you? Bridget rubs her arm, thinking about it before nods, great. Don't worry about the third one. Tyler will get it when he get back after finishing up something. Oh, that's good. They both push the crates together while getting knows each other a bit. Naruto, let me rub your whiskers. Let me rubs your whiskers. Izzy giggled as she ran up to him with crate on her back. Naruto paled as he takes a step back from her. Why do you want to rub his tattoo? Bridget blinks. It's really his birthmark and if you rub his whiskers, he will. Oh don't tell her duh. He was cut off by Bridget's stroke on his cheek out of curiosity before she pulls her hand back with odd look and a little pinkish tint on her cheeks. Did you just purr? Bridget laughed, find it a little cute. No, I do this time it was Izzy stroking his cheek with giggle. Hey guys, you're falling behind. Chris pulls up on his motorbike, only to blink at Naruto purring before laughing, no way. I can't believe it, what's going on? Chris turns to see Courtney with swollen eye and he yelped at the sight, is he purring? I don't purr at all. Naruto cried, pushing their hands away lightly before picked their crates and ran off, leaving dust behind. Bridget and Izzy giggled before telling Courtney why they was rubbed his birthmarks. The base team made it back to the cabins and Heather noticed that Naruto was blushing hard. Why is the idiot blushing? Both of the teams turned to him after hearing Heather's question. Heather, did you know if you rub his whiskers birthmark, he'll really purr like an animal? Izzy giggled, she doesn't even see Heather froze up. I don't, she's lying. He purred, melt into Courtney's hand since she want to see it herself. No way. Trent chuckled. Stop it. Naruto stuttered with red face. Why does everyone wants to feel his whiskers? Listen up, my birthmark is of. Lindsay, I think you should leave the poor boy alone. DJ looked very concerned about him. Why? Lindsay tilted her head before scratching it lightly. Wait, don't scratching it. Heather yelled but it was too late. Naruto froze up at the action with widened eyes. Whoa, are you okay, man? Jeff asked as he poked Naruto, not getting any reaction. Is he okay? Lindsay looks worried since it was kind of her fault. Suddenly Naruto purred in bliss and cuddled into the close person, turned out to be Duncan. Dude, he cried, tried to prying him off. Don't bother. Idiot will be out of it for a while. Heather snorted. It always happens when someone scratches his cheeks and he won't remember anything in his bliss. It will take him to snap out in about 30 minutes. How long will he be on me for? Oh, about few minutes before he will switch you with someone. The queen bee rolled her eyes, and he really has iron grip, so don't bother if you want him off. As soon as Naruto snapped out of his bliss mode and does not remember anything, the teams agreed on unwritten rule, and that's not to scratch his birthmark until you want him to cuddle on people. Even Chef was victim of it when he tried to pull him off Chris on his order. Courtney decided to put herself up as leader of Killer Base Team, and no one really said anything, so they were fine with it. It was obvious that the Screaming Gopher team have a good teamwork, something that the Killer Base was missing as they attempts to building a hot tub. It took them hours to finish up before Chris show up and looked them over. First he walked up to Gopher's tub and hummed. "This is an awesome hot tub." The team cheered and he walks up to the Bass's tub as the base team gasp in worry. He pokes it gently before it falls apart, watching a seagull that somehow got in their tub float away. Well, it's obvious that we have a winner here. Chris glanced at each team before shouting, "The Screaming Gophers. Enjoy your party with the hot tub, which you will keep for the rest of summer." The Gophers cheered more and the Bases groaned. Chris turned to the Killer Base team, "And you guys will have no party. Suck to be you. Well, at least, no one is kicking off this round." DJ tried to cheer his team up. Chris stood on the dock with grin. "Now it has been a crazy episode. We have seen our farmer boy get a new coat, a lot of screaming, purring, and a lot of weird things. Most around Naruto for some reason." Chris tapping his chin with his index finger. "I wonder what would happen next time on Total Drama Island." Naruto yawned, decided to turn in early, and he wasn't alone because some of them were tired after a long day. So far today was interesting and fun besides some strokes on his cheeks. He got to know a few campers here and hope he will know everyone before the end of this show. Maybe they will become his friends. He unzipped one of his bags and takes out his sleepwear. Something inside catches attention before he picks it up. It was a large thick envelope. Naruto sighed softly with saddened expression before place it back inside. "I still have a lot of time, better not worry about it until later." He glanced around the room to make sure that his teammates don't see him before take his shirt off to reveal a large scar on his chest, over his heart, and quickly put a black shirt on. He rubs his hidden scar, want to forget this incident before shake his head as he put on his orange ramen patterned pajamas pant. "I wonder what tomorrow will be like." Naruto muttered softly before he closed his eyes and fall asleep. Last time on Total Drama Island, Chris narrated, 23 campers arrived and learned that they'll be spending the next 8 weeks at an old summer camp. After I, your handsome host, found out that we have extra campers, so we decided to mix up with a good old-fashioned paint bomb tag. He chuckled at the memory from the first episode. There were a lot of tags and Ezekiel would have made it, only if he kept his mouth shut, but he did and it cost him. The footage of Ezekiel screamed before the bomb blow up. After give the old camp a new paint job, the prairie boy had to go back home on the first day. The host turns to the camera. "There was a small break before I give them a reward challenge. 2 in 1 day, who would have seen it coming, They were called to their second challenge where they have to jump off a cliff into shark-infected water." "Oh my," Chris chuckled again. There was a lot of screaming and purring, but it all ended in Gopher's victory, earning a sweet hot tub. Now today, who will be voted off for the first time in a dramatic campfire ceremony? Find out tonight on Total Drama Island. Heather chews her lip as she fidgets with the bandages on her right hand. She tugged it a little and glanced at Naruto with her tear-stained eyes. The said boy groaned as his eyes fluttered open. "He-chan," he moaned weakly before Heather placed her hand on top of his hand. "Relax, don't speak. Is it over?" She nodded, tightened her hold on his hand. "Yeah, you don't have to worry about." Everything went white, following with a loud noise. Screaming Gopher's cabin. Heather bolted up as the Gopher girls screamed at wake-up alarm, courtesy of Chris and his airhorn megaphone. She groaned, not listening to Lashana screaming at Chris. Was it dream? No, it was a memory from long time ago. She frowned. Why did I remember it now? "Heather, are you okay?" Heather blinked as she looks up to Beth. "You seem to be in deep thought about something?" "I'm fine, just sleepy." Heather snorted as she crawls off her bed. "Let's see what Chris want." The host chuckled as he looks over the grumpy campers lining up. "Morning. Hope you slept well." "Hi, Chris. You look buff in these shorts." Heather said, trying to butter him up as Naruto gave her a weird look from other side of the line. I know, Chris winked. Okay. I hope you're all ready because your next challenge begins in exactly 1 minute. The host tapped his watch before Owen asked him for breakfast. Oh, you'll get your breakfast, Owen, right after you complete your 20-kilometer run around the lake. Oh, so you're funny now? Eva growled as she walks up to Chris with a fist in air. You know, what I think would be funny if... Duncan and Naruto quickly hold her back as she flinging her arms around. Eva, try to control your temper now. Courtney whispered to her. The bodybuilder growled at Chris. You're enjoying this, aren't you? A little. Chris admitted, you have 30 seconds. Eva, I bet the run will cool you off. It's a workout if you look at it this way? Naruto said. Eva blinked at him before nodded with frown on her face. Confession. Okay, that girl, Eva, has got to get a handle on her temper. Courtney gulped before start counting on her hand. She only been here 1 day and she's already thrown her suitcase out a window and broken the lock on one of the bathroom doors. She paused while Naruto was inside. Static. Naruto looked very depressed and muttered in fetus position. I will never get married. She saw it all. I will never be a groom. He sobbed in his hands and Heather rolled her eyes as she patted his back. His mother told me that he took it after her father, his grandfather. He'll bounce back soon. Okay, runners. Chris raised his finger in air as if he was holding a gun. Get on your marks, get set, and go. Some of them ran off while the other decided to walk instead to save up their energies since they were tired. He-chan, you're not running? I don't run, and I'm wearing high-heel wedges. Heather scoffed, attempting to push Naruto away. Want me to give you a piggyback ride, Datbeo? Hell no, we're on different team. Naruto chuckled at her. Your loss, He-chan. He said before jogged to his teammate. Heather growled at his back as it gets far and small, this idiot. Naruto ran into Owen as the large boy was lapping in the puddle. You alright, Big O? Can't catch. Breath. Must have. Condition. Owen inhaled. Naruto tapped his chin. What if you will lose the challenge and you won't have a breakfast? Owen froze and Naruto grinned. He know that the big guy really like foods a lot, so what's the best way to motivate the big guy? Yeah, can you smell it? Owen's nose twitched. That's the smell of a breakfast. Calling for you to get them. Won't you hate it if someone gets to eat them all? FOD. Owen bellowed, jumps on his feet with hunger look and ran, leaving dust behind. Hee, too easy. Naruto chuckled, resumed his jog. He laughed as some of campers screamed from tossed away in air like a rag doll for getting in Owen's charge. Main Lodge. Chris hums a song, filing his nails and waits for the rest of campers to show up. He took a glance at his right to see some campers lying on floor and tables before the ground rumble. The host raised his eyebrow. He doesn't recall that the island has an earthquake, and is it just him or does it sound like someone stomping the ground with a bellowing? Feed me. Where's my breakfast? Chris blinked before the door opened with a slam, revealing heavier breathing Owen standing in the doorway with a drool and widened eyes on his face. Naruto chuckled, ducking under Owen's arm and take his seat with his teammate. You can wait unless everyone gets here? Chris said before the final member of Gopher show up. Wait a minute, if our members are all here, does that mean we won the challenge? Gwen said. Everyone went quiet before the Gopher team cheered. No. Owen dropped on his knees, cried to the sky. Whoa, there. Hold your horses, guys. Chris waved his hands. That wasn't the challenge. What did he just said? Gwen mumbled as the host walked up to a curtain. Who's hungry? Chris smirked as the curtain parted, revealing a large buffet table. The foods actually shined with bright light. Wait, is that ramen? Ramen? Naruto stood up and pointed at the bowls at the end of the table. Is that actually ramen? Don't you lie to me. Yeah. Chris was baffled by the redhead's reaction. Wait, did his eyes just turn starry? Confession. Gwen rolled her eyes. After a whole week of brown sludge, I almost cried when I saw that buffet. Static. Owen sniffled and choked. It was so beautiful. The buffet, so beautiful. He wiped a tear away. Static. I'm going to warning you, it's not going to be pretty when idiot get his ramen. Heather shivered. It's like watching a pig eating slops. Everyone groaned after ate their breakfast, and right now they stared at Naruto with awe and a little disgusted looks as he stocking up the bowls of ramen like a tower. Even Chris and Chef was among them. Whoa, I wonder where does he put it all in? DJ gaped as Cody counted them. 54, 55, 56, 57? I swear there was just 4 bowls on the table early. And, done. Naruto wiped his mouth. Boy, that's really good ramen, dat bayo. Chris shake his head before speak up. Well, let's forget what we just saw, campers, time for part 2 of your challenge. I thought part 2 was just eating. Owen moaned. What more do you want from us? Weird goth girl is right. Heather groaned, haven't we been through enough? Let me think about that. Chris said cockily, no. It's time for the awake-a-thon. A what-a-thon? Everyone said in unison. Don't worry, this one is easy. The host grinned, you have to stay awake until the team with the last camper standing wins invincibility. So what you're saying is the 20k run and the eating frenzy. Gwen shivered at the memory of Naruto assaulted the ramen. Was part of your evil plan to make it harder for us to stay awake? That's right, Chris admitted with sadistic grin. Man, he's good. Everyone agreed with Gwen. Move, move, move. Chris pushed everyone out as Trent walked up to Gwen. How long do you think it'll be before everyone's out cold? He asked and the goth girl guessed it would be about an hour. Naruto laughed, walking past them. Nah, I'm sure it will be longer than that. Campfire. The redhead was right, it has been 12 hours and counting. All of the campers were still up before Owen cheered, woohoo. Stay up for 12 hours? I can do that in my sleep. He immediately falls asleep on his feet and Chris chuckled. Confession. Gwen sighed, that was the most brutal thing I ever done in my life. Static. I have a trick up my sleeve when the time is right. Naruto snickered, that's if Heat-chan don't bust me. Bridget yawned before look at the Screaming Gophers team to see Trent and Gwen stay awake by asking each other questions. Oh, that's not bad plan. She glanced to her side. Naruto was at her right and sleeping Owen at her left. It's pretty oblivious who she will talk to. Hey, Naruto, want to play 20 questions so we can stay up? Sure. He yawned, let's start with easy one, favorite color? Blue, I'm sure your favorite color is orange? Bridget smirked, earn a chuckle and nod from Naruto. Favorite food? Ramen. I really can't live without them. Naruto grinned and she giggled. They continued their 20 questions for a few hours. Heather was watching Trent hitting on Gwen before glance at Naruto and Bridget, her eyes narrowed with a sneer. Confession. So, my strategy is to get 2 other campers to form an alliance with me and take me to the final 3. Heather smirked. The only question is, who can I find that is either desperate or dumb enough to do whatever I say? She gives a smirk before it turned into a frown. And why is idiot talk to this klutzy surfer? I told him to not form any alliance until I'm in it. What are you doing? Heather turned her head as Gwen asked Lindsay, who was doing a handstand. Trying to get the blood to rush to my head. Lindsay said, I think it's working. Can I try? Beth asked and the bombshell answered, sure. Too easy. Heather smirked before call out to them, Lindsay, Beth, can I talk to you for a sec? Sure. The trio walks a little farther from their team before Heather turns to them with crossed arms. Okay, I have a plan to get me and 2 other people into the final 3, and I choose you guys. Really? You should know that this is a very big deal. I am placing my trust in you, and trust is two-way street. Beth and Lindsay nodded with smiles, so you'll do everything I say, then? Sure. Lindsay squealed to Beth, we're going to the final 3. Oh my gosh, I'm going to the final 3. The farmer girl giggled with glee. Speaking of alliances, you know who I think is really cute? Lindsay said to Beth, you mean, like Justin? Beth sighed dreamily as she stares at unmoving Justin. Nah, I'm thinking of someone else in the other team. Heather gets up to them closer and shakes her head with a frown. Oh no, 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 no. You can't date anyone. Lindsay whined, why not? Because they're on other team. The queen bee snarled as she pointed at the opposite team, you can't inter-team date. It's, like, against the alliance rules. There a rule? Remember what I just said about trust? Heather shrugged, of course, you can always leave the alliance. She crossed her arms with smirk, if you do, I won't protect you from kicking off. No, I want to be in the alliance. Lindsay cried and Beth nodded her head. Good. Heather turned on her heels and walked back with a smirk, that was too easy. I'm going to the bathroom. Eva grunted as she stood up and walks off, dropping something on her way. Heather spotted it and swiped it without anyone's notice. If she plays it right, they will kick Eva off for losing her cool. Bridget racks her brain, trying to find something to ask about since they ran out of basic questions. Naruto was in same spot with her before the surfer girl snapped her fingers. Oh, I'm just curious, how did you balance these crates without any trouble yesterday? Well, it's from my part job. If I told you, you won't believe me. Naruto chuckled. Try me. She smirked. I work in a few of circuses and fill in when some performers have something to do or can't do. No way. See, I told you, dat bayo. Naruto laughed at her disbelieved face. Yeah, because of that, I have to work out a lot since I was little. Bridget blinked at the last part and he noticed. Yeah, I started to work for circuses when I was about 8 years old and work out when I was about 10 so I can help the workers out by set up and take down the circus. Wow, that's really hard to believe that. What kind of workout was it? The new voice speak up behind them caused them to look back to see Tyler stares at the redhead with weird look. Oh, just 100 push-up, sit-up, squat, and 10 kilometers run. Naruto smirked. Tyler gasped before stand up quickly. I'm going to try your workout. The couple watched him ran away before Naruto snickered and Bridget rolls her eyes. That was mean. She giggled. Hey, not my fault, he made it too easy. Naruto chuckled. My workout is just normal basic stuff you can use at a gym, combined with circus training since I was 10. Really, just these? Naruto scratched his head. Well, Smith-san, a performer, teaches me a few of fighting techniques to defend myself a couple years ago, so I guess that counts. Why did you work in circus at young age? She wondered. Well, I have to earn money since I live on my own at 7 years old after my Ka-san died from an illness and my two-san don't know that I exist since they broke up a few days before Ka-san found out about me. I was lucky that He-chan's family looked after me for a while. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know that you're... Naruto waved it off as he take a glance around to see Izzy, Noah, and Jeff passed out. That was good thing that Izzy was sleeping because he can't take any more of her pets, even if it's really good and soft. Nah, don't worry. Beside He-chan, I just met everyone here so it's cool if you guys don't know about it yet. Want to talk about something else? Yeah? Bridget nodded. They continued to talk more for a few hours. It has been almost 24 hours and Bridget passed out. She was leaning on Naruto's shoulder as he stares into thin air. Ah! Tyler screamed out of blue, leapt on his feet and screaming something about rabid bear. Look like the side effect of insomnia is kicking in. Chris smirked. Congratulations, campers. You've made it to 24-hour mark. Time to take things up a notch. He presented them a pile of books next to him, fairy tales. Chef appeared out of nowhere, wearing a pink sheep costume and with harp. They better paid me for that. Oh, he's not serious. Gwen groaned. Trent seems to be creeped out by seeing Chef in pink costume as Chris picked a book up and cleared his throat. Once upon a time, there was inside this boring kingdom. Chef played his harp as some of the remaining campers yawning, a boring village and inside this boring, sleepy village, filled with very boring children. Cody was first to fall asleep during the tale but a fart in his face caused him to wake up. It turned out he was resting his head on Owen's rear. All of a sudden, Chef leapt in the air wearing a pink tutu outfit, freaked the campers out, and throwing some sleeping dust at them. DJ tied himself to the tree for no reason before fall asleep under Chef's dust attack, bring a tree down in process. Tim Beer. Gwen yawned. Confession. Courtney glanced at the ceiling before looking the camera. I figured that if I kept moving, I could outlast all of them. I just had to keep my eye on the ball. Static. Why am I thinking about idiot? Heather tapping her chin with her finger with scowl. I know it's not because some floozy is sleeping on him, what is it? 40 hours later, some of the campers passed out, leaving Eva, Duncan, Naruto, Cody, Courtney and Justin against Beth, Gwen, Trent, and Heather. Beth? Heather glanced to see her pass out. Trent attempted to keep Gwen up by asking her more questions. Quick, favorite movie moment? The musician asked. You're gonna think it's cheesy. Gwen said. I promise I won't. Okay, she sighed, the kiss at the end of that road trip movie. You know, one with the guy and 3 girls? Yeah, Trent chuckled. You like that movie? They was about to talk more until sleepwalking nude Owen walked past them, leaving them in shock. After recovering from the shock that lasted for another 10 hours, Gwen take a glance at Justin before speak up. Look at him. He's like a statue. He don't even move in over 50 hours. Yeah, even Naruto don't move a muscle. Trent pointed out as Naruto stares ahead. Maybe it's because Bridget is still sleeping on him. Hello? Gwen waved her hands in Justin's face and Trent joined her, amazing. Look at the concentration. She poked Justin, causing him to blink, revealing that he painted fake eyes on his eyelids. He painted his eyelids. I saw it. Chris. Heather gasped, pointing at Justin. Shut up. Chris gasped before grinned as he ran up to Justin's face. Oh, I've got to see this. This is so freaking cool. But you're still out, dude. Justin sighed before Heather blinks, remembering something. Wait a minute. Chris, check Naruto. Heather leapt on her feet and Chris blinked. Are you drafted? His eyes are opened. Duncan yawned as Chris checked Naruto before nod his head. Yeah, he's not sleeping so. Heather cut him off. Naruto can sleep with his eyes open. Chris blinked before looked back into the redhead's eyes. Chris poked him once, earning a light snore out from Naruto. No freaking way. I take back what I said about Justin's trick, that is so fucking cool. The host throws his hands in air. If Naruto wake up, tell him he's out. Confession. I can't believe that I almost forget about that. Heather muttered with her hand on face. He practiced it when he was in classes. Static. Duncan chuckled. That's really handy skill. Wonder if you will teach me that. Static. I don't like to study, and classes are very boring. Naruto yawned, rubbing his eyes. Another 30 hours went by and Cody just passed out, leaving Eva, Heather, Duncan, Trent, and Gwen. Duncan decides to pull a prank on Harold by using hand-in-cup trick. Oh gross. It works. Dude peed his pant. The nerd wakes to Duncan's shout, only to find his pant wet and gasped in shock as the punk laughed at him. Ah! Noah and Cody screamed together, causing the slumbering campers to get up with groggly eyes. Gwen yawned. I'd kill for a coffee right now. What is the matter with you people? Chris walks up with a cup of coffee as if he was mocking them. Just fall asleep already. Come on, you got to hook me up, man. Gwen whined as she grabs the host's leg. I'll even eat the grinds. Anything. Fine, you five stay with me. Chris grumbled, the rest of you go and get a shower, for heaven's sake. You stink. Everyone turned and looked at Harold. The said nerd ran off. The campers walk off and they can hear him said something about pop-up book and history. Hey, Naruto. Bridget tapped the redhead's shoulder. Sorry about sleeping on your shoulder. Nah, I don't mind. Did you sleep well, Bree-chan? Yeah, I did. Bridget nodded, it was so comfy. She thought to herself with a pinkish tint on her face before the surfer blinked, Bree-chan? It's your nickname, if it's cool with you? I'm cool with it, so you shortened my name and add Chan? He nodded, what's up with Chan? Oh, it's suffix in Japanese. Chan is used toward girls if they are close friends or lover. Bridget felt her cheek burning at the last part. I mean as good friend. Right? She nodded furiously with blush. Both of them never noticed Heather make a snarl, almost make Chris take a step back. Killer base cabin. Who do you think will be the last one standing? Naruto asked, lying on his top bed after finished his shower. Cody looked at him before give him a gap-toothy grin. I bet it's Gwen. Dude, she's on the other team. DJ chuckled as the geek sighed. Tyler was snoring on his bed while Justin volunteered to go to look for missing Owen. It sounds like you have a huge crush on her, Datbeo. Naruto grinned and Cody rolled his eyes as the Jamaican chuckled again. I would say the same thing with you and Bridget. The geek shot back with a laugh. Oh, he got you there. DJ nodded, also noticed how fast they were getting closer. Huh, Bree-chan? We're just friend. Naruto muttered, rubbing his nose. Bree-chan, If Naruto looked down, he would see DJ sticking his head out with a coy look on his face. Ooh, pet name already? We're just friends, all we did was just talked, Datbeo. They can see Naruto's face start to matching his hair. Yeah, for almost one whole day, and she slept on you. Cody chuckled and Naruto groaned. We're just teasing you, man. DJ laughed. Yeah. Naruto grumbled, it would be weird if someone gets together in just a few days. To some people, yeah, but it may can happen to you. Cody pointed out. What do you mean? The redhead asked before Justin walked in the room with disgusted expression on his face. Oh, Justin, did you find Owen? When you told me that Owen was naked, I don't believe you in first place, now I wish I did. Justin shivered. He doesn't witness the event of sleepwalking, I found him on top of a beaver dam and now he's in shower with his clothes. That's good. DJ sighed, he was worried about Owen. So what were you talking about? Justin asked out of curiosity. Naruto and Bree-chan, Cody and DJ said in unison with cheesy grins as Naruto buried his head under the pillow with a groan. Oh, do tell. The model smirked. Hey guys, I came here to let you know that Gwen outlasted Duncan by a hair, so it's screaming Gopher's victory. Courtney sighed as the boys were coming out of their cabin to check out. Huh? How did you know? Naruto tilted his head to left. I was checking on Duncan since he was the last one of us and I show up when Chris declared it. Oh, so that mean we have to vote. Owen was about to say something before a roar breaks out inside the cabin and the door slammed open. Who took it? Did you steal it? Eva snarled and everyone blinked. She suddenly barged into the boys' room and tossed everything out through the window. WW what? Cody stuttered and everyone gulped at her roaring more. Where is my MP3 player? One of you must have stolen it. Eva snarled, I need my music. No one is going anywhere until I get my MP3 player back. Okay, whoever took it better give it up now before she destroys whole camp. Courtney said to the team. What's MP3 player? Naruto asked, earning a weird look from his group. Hey, guys. Heather walked up with a smile. Wow, this place is a real mess. Someone stole Eva's MP3 player. Courtney sighed as Cody explained what it is to Naruto in background. You don't mean this, do you? Heather pulls out the MP3 player. I was wondering who it belonged to. I found it by the campfire pit. The bodybuilder ran up and grabbed it. You must have dropped it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Eva thanked Heather over and over. Sure thing. The queen bee smiled. Walk away. That's good thing you found it. She can feel someone ruffled her hair from behind and scowl, knowing who it is. Idiot. What did I said? Heather swatted Naruto's hand away and stomped away as Naruto chuckled at her. Sorry about that little misunderstanding? Eva chuckled nervously as the team glared at her. Guess no one stole it after all. Okay. I just overreacted a little. They kept glared at her. Campfire. Welcome to the first campfire ceremony. Chris said as he walks up to the killer base members with a tray of marshmallows. You've all cast your votes and made your decision. There are only 10 marshmallows on this plate. When I call your name, come up and claim your marshmallow. The host chuckled. The camper who does not receive a marshmallow must immediately return to the dock of shame, catches the boat of losers, and leave. You will never come back, ever. Duncan, Bridget, Courtney, Owen, Naruto, Tyler, DJ, Justin. One by one, the campers took their marshmallow. There was one left and it comes down between Izzy and Eva. This is the final marshmallow of the evening. Eva gulped. Izzy bit her nails. Chris smirked, enjoying the dramatic pause. Quote ellipsis quote. The group stared at the host, waiting for Chris' announcement. Izzy. Yeah, more time to petting Naruto's whiskers. The redhead paled as Izzy giggled at him. Eva, the dock of shame awaits. Chris whispered to Eva with a smug smirk. Eva stood up and turns to her former teammates with a scowl on her face. Nice, really nice. Who need this stupid TV show, anyway? The bodybuilder exploded before walk up to cowering Chris and kicks him in shin on her way. Ow, have a good night's sleep tonight. Chris muttered in pain before turn his head to the group. You're all safe. Dock of shame. Eva growled as Courtney waved at her from the distance. Bye-bye, Eva. She snarled before throw a stick at them, causing them to duck under it. The stick is inside the pole. How can it be? Cody cried out of fear and everyone watched her get on the boat before it takes off. Cabins. Heather yawned, leaning against cabin and waiting for the base team to show up to make sure that her plan works the way she wanted to be. She don't wait long when Naruto showed up. Hey, idiot. Who did your team kick off? Oh, he-chan? Naruto blinked at her appearance. Everyone voted for Eva so she's out. He frowned. You should have to go to sleep, Datbeo. I was just curious, that's all. Heather yawned again before Naruto's chuckle drew her attention. What's so funny? Nah, I was thinking that maybe the reason why you were up is because you were worried about me. Idiot. I'm not worried about you. I know. Night, he-chan. He waved at her before heading for his cabin and Heather scoffed. She was about to enter her room before stopped and turned to Naruto with snarl, and stop call me that. Why can't you listen to me for once? You two acts like a married couple, if you ask me. The queen bee froze up before slowly turned to the person with angry expression. Noah, yes? If you said it again, I will kill you. Heather growled as she stomped past Noah into her room. Oh, I'm so scared. Noah rolled his eyes before resume his night read. Confession. I have an odd urge to make a betting pool. Noah peeks up from his book. $10 said Naruto will end up with Heather. Static. My little buddy came up with awesome betting pool and all the guys got on it. Owen laughed before lifts his index finger in air. I bet 20 on Naru and Bridge because they both are so nice and awesome. Main Lodge. The next day, everyone was tired from the last challenge. Duncan snored on the table before wake up by Chris. Duncan, you look like a crap, man. Chris mocked with a grin. Stuff it. The punk grunted out before snoring on the table. Courtney groaned. Owen farted all night. It reeks so badly. It's the beans. Owen defended himself with a guilty look on his face. Wow, 4 nights without sleeps. How much are you hurting, dude? Want to find out? Duncan snarled, his angry eyes flared at Chris. His teammates duck under the table for their safety reason. No, it's cool. Chris raised his hands in surrender but his grin said otherwise. Harold walks into the main lodge with a mustache drawing on his face and everyone snickered before laugh at him as soon as he sat down with Gopher's table. What? Harold asked. Someone messed with your face, dude. Jeff whispered to him before the nerd checked his reflection in the spoon. Sweet stash. I'm a man now. He puffed his chest out. Who want to tell him it's just drawing? Naruto whispered to snickering Justin. Hey. Chris shouted to get their attention. Everyone, it's Gwen. The Gophers cheered as the goth girls show up at their table. Why are we clapping? Lindsay asked as Courtney sneered at the team. I'm so tired, I can't feel my face. It was last thing Gwen said before she faceplanted the table. Heather turns to Beth and Lindsay, so let's go over the rules one more time. Number 1, I am the captain of this alliance, so I get to make the rules. Number 2, she waited for them to give her answers. Breaking the rules can result in getting kicked out of the alliance? Lindsay questioned her before Heather nodded. Number 3, I can borrow any of your stuff without asking, but my stuff is strictly off limits. The queen bee smirked and Lindsay tilted her head. I don't know about that last rule. That's cool. I can change it. Beth and Lindsay smiled. I can also find someone else to take to the final 3 with me. Heather's subtle threat caused them to change their mind. Good. Wanted to have some fun? They nodded as she stands up to face the base team. Hey, Fishhead. Way to kick out your strongest player. Why won't you just give up now? Heat-chan, be nice, or do you want Alpha S51 prank? Heather paled at Naruto's comment. Okay campers, listen up. Chris clapped his hands. Your next challenge begins in 10 minutes, and be prepared to bring it. The host leaned into Naruto and whispered. Mind telling me about Alpha S51 prank? Sure, when we have time. Naruto grinned. Court. The campers stand in the middle of the court. Duncan was last to enter the court before lie down on the bleacher. He noticed that his team was looking at him. Wake me up and it'll be the last thing you do. The punk threatened before passed out. This is all your fault, you know? Courtney glared at Owen with a growl. You and your farts. It's the beans. I can't help it. Owen whined. I'm glad that I'm not on this team, gosh. Harold whispered to Trent. Chef blows his whistle before growled at them. Pay attention, fools. Thank you, Chef. Chris patted the current referee's back. Today's challenge is the classic game of dodgeball. The first rule of dodgeball is. Noah cut him off with a smirk. Do not talk about dodgeball? Some of the campers snickered as Chris frowned at the bookworm before plastered the grin on his face. As I was saying, if you get hit with the ball. The host throws the ball with all of his strength. Noah cried as the ball hit his family jewelries. Chris chuckled at the bookworm's agony. You're out. Chris continued with a grin, acting like he doesn't just hit someone in groin. It's official, I hate you. Noah whined out in pain as Jeff throws the ball back at the host, who catches it with his hands. If you catch the ball, the thrower gets out and the catcher gets to bring in another team member out on the court. Chris pulls his arm back. Okay now, Tyler, try to hit me. The ball flew into the jock's hands before Chef tossed the host another ball. If you're holding a ball, you can use it to defect a ball. But if it knocks the ball out of your hands, you're out. So what do I do again when the ball comes at me? Lindsay asked before Tyler throws the ball at Chris. You dodge. The host yelled. deflects the ball to Lindsay and hit her in face. The campers gasped and Chris groaned, "Ooh, you were supposed to dodge the ball." "Ow, right." Lindsay slowly gets up on her feet with a bump on her forehead. "You have 1 minute until game time." Chris turns to the Gophers team. "Gophers, you have to sit one person out each game." "Okay, we can't get lazy." Heather said, "The killer base are gonna be trying extra hard to catch up. Who wants to sit the first one out with Sleeping Beauty here?" She jabbed her thumb at Sleepy Gwen. "I'll volunteer." "Noah, step up, it would be perfect time to get more campers on the betting pool. Now let's see all you keeners get out there and dodge." Izzy glomped Naruto with a grin. "Hiya Red. Want to make it more interesting?" What?" The redhead gulped. "If I get one out with a ball, I have to pet your whiskers without any resistance. The more players I get out, the more chances I get to play with your whiskers." Naruto paled, and before he can turn it down, Chris popped up right behind him with a sadistic grin. "That's good idea. I approved it." The host chuckled and Izzy cheered. "If he plays it right, there will be a lot of drama soon, and everyone know that love lines always bring drama, which mean more rate." Confession. "No." Naruto cried as he clutches his head. Round 1. Chef glanced at the sides as the players entered the zone. Izzy, Courtney, Tyler, Cody, and Owen went up first against Heather, Lindsay, Lashana, Harold, and Katie. "Bring it on, fishes." Heather teased, "Otherwise winning 2 in a row just won't be as satisfying." "Oh, you're going down." Tyler shot back, "We're gonna to bring the dinner to the table, and then we'll go to eat it." Naruto turns to Justin with blank expression. "What?" The model shrugged, he also doesn't understand it at all. "Both teams ready?" Chris shouted out, "Best of 5 games wins. Now let's dodge some ball." As soon as he finished his sentence, Chef blows his whistler harder to start the game, and both of the teams pick up their balls, 3 each. "Time to unleash my wicked skills." Harold cried, but for no reason. He just spiked the ball on the floor. It bounced a few times before rolls to Izzy's feet. "Have you ever played this game before, String Bean?" Lashana snarled before Tyler throws the ball at the team, but it hit DJ. "Sorry," Tyler shouted out as the ball slammed into his stomach. Heather was the one who got him out of the game. Courtney snarled as she chucked the ball at Harold, and it hit him in face, evening the number. "Ooh, that'll leave a mark." Chris laughed. Katie throws her ball and it flew toward Cody. The said geek ducks under it as it hit the wall before bounced back. "Can someone remind me what I'm supposed to do with this again?" It was all Lindsay can ask before the ball slammed into her cheek, giving her a second bruises in process. "She's beautiful. Even if she get bruises, I'm so going to confess to her soon." Tyler whispered to Naruto as he sends a wave to the bombshell, who just returned it back with a smile. Naruto chuckled at the jock. "Really? That's brave of you, Datbeo." The redhead patted Tyler's back. "Good luck." The ball flew into Tyler's groin. "Mommy?" he groaned. "What the hell was that?" Courtney growled, "Ref, he's even not on the court." Chef glanced at Heather. The said girl claimed that she slipped, so he let it past for now. Courtney gritted her teeth. Watch out." Cody cried out and Courtney blinked. "What does he mean by that?" Her eyes widened. She forget that she was still game, but it was too late. The ball hit her in back. "That's how we roll." Lashana chuckled as the CIT take her place with a scowl. The sister was about to brag more, but the ball in gut stopped her from doing it. "Free whisker time." Izzy cheered as Naruto groaned in his hands. Katie fired back, managed to get Izzy out, and before the sweet girl can celebrate, the ball hit her in leg. "Damn it." Heather scowled as Owen and Cody grinned at her. "Easy out, guys, easy out." Courtney cheered to her teammates and Heather glanced at her with sneer until she noticed something. Naruto was laughing with Bridget before he ruffled her hair and she playful smacked him in arm. Izzy glomped Naruto and started to rub his whiskers, causing him purring as Bridget giggled at them. Confession. Heather glared at the camera with angry sneer on her face. "This idiot. Moronic, ramen addicting, foolish idiot." She crossed her arms in front and kept ranting for a while. "Why is he getting too closer with these hussies?" She paused, "And why did it bother me?" Cody threw the ball at Heather and with a loud snarl, she grabbed the ball with one hand before throw it at Owen, sent him fly out. "Owen!" Cody gulped before screaming out in pain as the ball slammed into his groin. Heather snarled again and stomped past snickering Chris before sit down with her teammates. Are you?" Jeff was about to ask, only to cut off as Heather growled. Maybe it's better to stay clear of her for now. Oh my, Chris chuckled. First round go to Gophers. Round 2. Come on, guys, we can do it. Naruto clapped his hands to pumping up his team's spirit. Yeah, we better. Courtney muttered before turns to Tyler with a glare. You better not mess it up again. It was just a warm-up throw. Look, I can dominate this game. The jock said, just give all of your balls to me. Chef blows his whistle again and Courtney sighed. Fine, just try to aim for the other side, okay? Noah, you're up, Heather said after finally calmed down. You know, you guys did such an awesome job on the last game that I don't want to mess up your mojo. Noah said before go back to his book and Heather raised one of her eyebrows. Beth volunteered to take Noah's place. The two teams take their sides, Beth, Lindsay, Trent, Katie, and Sadie against Bridget, Tyler, Izzy, Owen, and Naruto. The odd thing about Killer Base Team is that Tyler has all of the balls in his arms, causing the screaming Gophers to be little uneasy about what he is up to. The jock starts to spinning around and the balls flew everywhere. Hey, watch the face, dude. Chris shouted as he ducks under the stray ball and Chef grunted out as the ball hit his face. The Gophers on the bleacher jump out as another stray ball flew to it before the final one hit Lindsay in face again. No, Tyler cried, not believing that he just hit his crush and ran up to help her up. Finally, Courtney rolls her eyes. Oh my gosh, my face. Lindsay winced as she touches her face, accepting Tyler's hand and asked him, how's my face? Tyler held his gasp back and winced inside of her bruised face before give her a nervous smile. It's really not that bad. You still look great. Really? Yeah, really. He nervously chuckled, never noticed the fact that Trent just tosses the ball at him and gets him out of the game. Courtney facepalmed at the scene and Naruto chuckled before he noticed his jock friend ask the bombshell to go for a walk. Good luck, dude. The redhead winked at Tyler and he returned it with thumb up. Hey, get back here. Heather shouted out to Lindsay, you are so close to being out of the alliance. Big O, let's show them we mean business, dat bayo. Naruto grinned at Owen as they grabbed their balls. Let's do it, buddy. Owen roared, game on. He throws one of his balls and it hit Katie and Sadie at once. His second ball hit Beth in stomach. Not bad, now it's my turn. Naruto chuckled before throw the ball at Jeff. The party boy's eyes widened before the ball slammed into his face, knocking him out. Trent gulped as Naruto smirked at him. Sorry, Trent. The redhead throws the ball harder and the music ducked under it as it soared over his head. Hey, you miss. Trent was about to saying something but he hears a sound of the ball bounced off the wall behind him before he turns around to see the ball hitting him in forehead. Gaw. Hey, campers, look. Chris chuckled, that one's worth an instant replay. The campers looked at him showing them the footage of Jeff. He played it over and over to show how badly it was when the ball hit him in face. Forward, rewind, forward, rewind, forward, pause. The host chuckled, that's gonna leave a mark. It's 1-1 now. Owen and Naruto high-fived each other as the Killer Base Team cheered. Aw, I don't get anyone out this time. Izzy pouted. Round 3. The third round starts as the players entered, Lashana, Katie, Jeff, Beth, and Sadie against Courtney, Owen, Izzy, Justin, and DJ. DJ, give me your ball. Izzy want her whiskers time. Naruto paled as chuckling DJ passed the ball to the crazy girl. Izzy launched them at once and managed to get Sadie and Beth out. Yes, 2 free passes. I think I'm doomed. Naruto sighed, earning some snickers from his teammates. They kept watching the game as Lashana finally get Owen out, following by Izzy after she got Katie out. Go, team, go. You can do it. Noah mumbled, uninteresting in the game as his team glared at him. Jeff throws his ball and Courtney ducked with a smirk but the second ball wiped her smirk off. Woo-hoo. Lashana laughed before dodged the ball from DJ and the giant were hit by the ball, leaving Justin in the game. Not the face, please. Justin grinned, causing Lashana to swooning and Jeff rolls his eyes before get the model out. Now it's 2-1 in Gopher's favor. Hey, it's 2-1. Heather called out to Bass Team, how does it feel to suck so much? It's not over. Courtney yelled back before turns to her team. Okay, that is really bad. One more game and we lose whole challenge, again. She stood up with hands on her hip. We can't let that happen, people. I know we have strong players but we need someone meaner, Someone who can crush these stupid gophers into dirt. Everyone looks at snoring Duncan before DJ shakes his head. If we wake him up, he'll kill us. He won't kill us, guys. Courtney sighed, he wants to win too. Courtney's right. Cody nodded, we need him to win this. Thank, Cody, now wake him up. The geek paled, me? Courtney nodded, no way, I'm not doing it. I like to live. Well, who's gonna wake him up? Courtney growled and everyone gulped. Fine, I have a plan. Someone find the long stick so we can poke him. I won't do that if I were you. Someone speak up, I don't like to be poked. Then how can we wake you up? Courtney slowly trailed off as everyone turned to face a waking Duncan. Wasn't you just SLE? Naruto just wake me up. He just told me why you need me for. The punk grunted. Wait, did you kill? DJ gulped. Nah, I'm still alive. Naruto chuckled and DJ sighed with relief. Yeah, I'll play on one condition. You what I say when I say it. Duncan demanded and Courtney nods. Okay, here's a strategy I picked up during my first visit to Juvie. It's called, Rush the New Guy. Round 4. Duncan chooses Courtney, Izzy, DJ, and Naruto to join him on the court as they go against Lashana, Katie, Beth, Trent, and Gwen. Chef blow his whistle and Beth throw her ball, followed by Lashana's ball. The killer bass players dodged them and in an instant, Izzy collected them before tossed them over to Duncan and Courtney. 4 of them throw the balls at once, all of them knocked Lashana out. Way to go, guys. Bridget cheered from sideline. The bass team repeated their plan, earning them an easy win and end in tie. Izzy turns to Chris with puzzled expression on her face. Hey, Chris, if we hit them at same time, do I still get more whisker time? Yeah, you do if your ball was in the group. Chris snickered, ignoring Naruto's shout and Izzy cheered. Come on, a little effort out there, people. Noah mumbled before his teammates glared at him harder. I think that we should do the same thing all over again. Courtney said, so who want to sit out this time? I will. DJ raised his hand and Cody volunteered to take his place. Not that Noah here cares, the queen bee speak to her team, but we are not going to lose this challenge to these guys, get it? She paused before snarled, and where is Lindsay? I'm here. Heather blinked before turns to Lindsay. Oh, just sit down and stay there. The bombshell nodded as she sits down. Naruto blinked before look at Tyler sit down on the bleacher with saddened expression. He wondered what just happened between Lindsay and the jock. The redhead noticed that Courtney walked up to the jock and snarled, where were you? Nowhere. You were with this blonde gopher girl, wasn't you? No, maybe? Tyler sighed and Courtney was about to grill him more but Naruto threw his arm around her and move her away. Hey, Courtney. The game is about to start. Naruto glanced out of corner of his eyes to see Tyler send a grateful nod to him. Hey, what are you doing? Courtney cried out of frustration. Round 5. Okay, that is it, the final tie-breaking game. Chris announced to the camera, we have Gwen, Heather, Lashana, Harold, and Jeff playing for the Screaming Gophers team. He swings his arm to other side, going against Cody, Courtney, Naruto, Duncan, and Bridget playing for the Killer Bass team. Go, team, go. Noah cheered with dull tone. Go, team, go. W-O-O-O-O-Who. Owen roared with glee tone. Gophers, bass, let's send this sample to the lab and see what you made of. Chris said with grin. What sample are we talking about here? DNA? Naruto turns to the host with widened eyes. Just starts the damn game. Chris deadpanned and chuckling chef blow his whistle for the final round. Fast feet, fast hands. Heather ordered her team as they grabbed their balls and throws it around. The results are that there were a lot of dodges, outs, and switching players. Knock them out, knock them out. Noah said, he was the only one that doesn't play his turn at all. Ow, he cried as a stray ball hit him out of his seat. I guess sports aren't your forte. Heather smirked at downed Noah as Gophers laughed at him. Yes, Gwen cheered as she finally got Courtney out and Lashana laughed with her. Oh, you messed with the wrong white girl. The ball hit her in face, sends her back to the bleacher. No one knows how long it has been going on for but now it's down to the final player for each team. Chris smirked as he looks at Harold and Naruto before whispered to the referee, hey chef, bet you $50 that the redhead wins it. I'm no fool. I know better not to bet against you. The host pouted, why do he always have to be a killjoy? Come on, Harold. Trent cheered him on. Sweet dream, princess. Duncan laughed. Bring it on. Harold throws his kung fu moves around and beckoning Naruto with his hand. The redhead shakes his head before throws a few of his balls at the nerd and he dodged them with fancy footwork, even pulling out a matrix. Whoa, Noah gasped, dropping his book in his shock. Oh, you get some sweet moves, dude. Naruto chuckled as he tosses his ball up and down. Where did you learn it from? Figure skating, the nerd answered. Ah, somehow odd but yet useful, but sorry, bud. Naruto's eyes hardened with determination. I'm not going to let my team lost another challenge, I promise you, Datbayo. Uh-oh, Heather gasped in horror. Confession. Knowing this idiot, if he makes any promises, he always fulfilling them no matter what. Heather sighed. Look like it is going to be Nerd's funeral. Naruto gives Harold a sadistic grin. Let's see if you can dodge that. He pulls his arm back and swinging his body forward, dodge. The ball flew at high speed, giving Harold no chance to react before it hit him in stomach. The nerd screamed in terror as he flew with it and hit the wall before slide down slowly, leaves him whining in pain. The ball innocently rolls out off Harold and kept rolling until it comes to Naruto's feet. The killer base team cheered as Naruto walked back to them with huge grin. Nice throw, Whisker. Duncan chuckled as the base lifted Naruto in air and carried him away. Gophers, what happened? Chris asked them with a chuckle. What can I say? Noah shrugged, weak effort. Ah, shut it. Gwen snarled and stomped away. For once, I agree with weird goth girl. Heather scoffed before everyone walk away from Noah with the boys. Touchy. Noah rolls his eyes before look at his male teammates. What? I'm telling you, the team spirit here is severely lacking lately. Campfire. Campers, you've already placed your votes and made your decision. Chris said as he holds up the tray with marshmallows. One of you will be going home and you can't come back, ever. When you hear me call out your name, come pick up a marshmallow. The host cleared his throat before he called them out. Gwen, Jeff, Katie, Beth, Trent, Heather, Lashana, Lindsay, Sadie? One by one, the said campers pick up their marshmallows and stood behind Chris. It comes down to Harold and Noah for the final marshmallow. The final marshmallow goes to. Harold starts to sweat. Noah smirked, not worried about it since Harold plays so poorly at the game. Quote ellipsis quote. The campers glared at the certain person. Harold. The said nerd cheered, running up to get his marshmallow and take his place as Noah dropped his jaw in shock. Wait, are you kidding me? Noah yelled before give out a sigh. Alright, see if I care. Good luck because you just voted out the only one with any brains on this team. The bookworm's comment earned him a barrage of marshmallows. Ow. You need to learn a little thing called respect, turkey. Lashana angrily muttered as she dusts her hands. Whatever, I'm outta here. Noah said, walking to the dock of shame and step into the boat before it take off. Lake, did you enjoy your meats? Naruto grinned at the sharks as they nodded back to him. The redhead chuckled, tossing them some of meats before he felt someone tackle him from behind. Whisker time. Naruto's eyes widened as Izzy's hands rubbed his whiskers, causing him to purr. Stop. Izzy giggled, shaking her head. Nope. Naruto sighed at her. Why are you doing that? The crazy girl tilted her head with a lopsided grin before she giggled. Dunno. It's fun to play with your whiskers, and it's cuter when you're purring. I like you. For some reason, Izzy's answer made Naruto's face red, or it was because she kept rubbing his cheeks. There, I used up 2 of 17 passes. See y'all later. Izzy giggled, disappeared into the wood. Naruto sighed and facepalmed, blaming the host in his head for gave Izzy a bonus mission. He turns to the smirking sharks and rolled his eyes at them. Yeah, laugh it up, you guys. Killer base cabin. Tyler sighed, he was still wide awake and it was late at night. The jock kept rewinding a memory in his head over and over. The jock and the bombshell walked to the shore. They were talking about random things and it was good time. They sat down on the sand and watched the waves as they roll in before Tyler speaks up. Lindsay? The jock rubbed his neck and she turned her head to him. Yes, Tabor? Lindsay smiled. Tyler don't mind the fact that she got his name wrong since she always get everyone's name wrong. I have something to tell you. The jock takes a deep breath and stuttered, I like you. Lindsay's eyes widened and she turned to him. You're really beautiful and sweet girl. You really treat everyone with kind and never treat anyone different because of their appearance. the jock said, recalling how well she gets along with Beth and Gwen. At his school, he never went out with the beautiful girls since they always treat other people like outcasts, and that's why he was still single, because he used to be an outcast before he gets into sport. Tay? Lindsay tried to speak up, but Tyler continued on with his confession. The reason why I fall for was because of your personality. I know it's out of blue since we don't talk a lot. I just want to tell you that I like you. Lindsay bit her lip before put her hand on his shoulder. I'm happy that you feel like that, but I'm sorry. The jock's heart just fall. You're really nice guy and any girls would be lucky to have you because I can tell that you're also loyal. The thing is that, I like someone else. Lindsay give Tyler a hug. I like you as a friend and I think you're really brave for telling me about your feeling. I'm sorry and I hope that don't change our friendship. Tyler give her a sad smile. Nah, it doesn't change anything, thank. I'm going back, are you? Tyler shakes his head. Nah, I'm going to stay here for a bit but I'll be right there. Lindsay nodded before give him a hug again and walked back to the court. He sat there for a few minutes before he followed her. Tyler turns to his side and hugged his pillow, fighting back the tears in his eyes. The jock's eyes slowly closed and before he knows it, he was in deep sleep. Screaming Gopher's cabin. It had been a few days after the dodgeball challenge and it was morning. Okay, this is so way beyond bad. Lindsay's whine waked Gwen up and the goth girl turned to her as the bombshell checked her empty tanner tubes. I'm out of fake tanner, already. Whoa, that's tragic, Lindsay. Gwen said sarcastically. Now I have to actually like suntan, in the sun. Lindsay turned to Gwen with puppy eyes. Do you realize how shriveled and wrinkly that can make your skin? Gwen ignored her as she patted her hair down. Oh, you totally do. Lindsay gasped, expressing her concern and Gwen rolled her eyes. All right, campers, enough beauty sleep. Chris' voice rang out of the loudspeaker. Time to show us what you're made of, meet me at the stage. Now what? Duncan grunted out as the campers slowly staggered out of their cabins. Stage, are we gonna see a musical? Lindsay asked her teammates. I love musicals, especially the ones with singing and dancing. Gwen, saved you a seat. Trent waved Gwen over as he patting the seat next to him. Thank. Gwen smiled at the musician before sat down next to him as Heather looked at them with raised eyebrow, not sure if they're in alliance or not. The queen bee glanced at the other team to see Naruto wave at her with grin and she turned her nose up in air, not noticing that she accidentally hit Lindsay in face with her ponytail. Bah, was all Lindsay can say as she pulls a piece of hair out of her mouth. Welcome to our brand new, deluxe, state-of-the-art outdoor amphitheater. Chris showed up in the middle of the stage with cheesy grin. Wow, the interns really build it so faster because I don't see that place here yesterday. Naruto muttered. Chris glared at Naruto for interrupting him before muttered. Anyway, this week's challenge is a summer camp favorite, a talent contest. Yes, awesome. Owen cheered as the campers perked up at Chris' revelation. Each team has 8 hours to pick their 3 most talented campers. The host explained, these 3 will represent them in the show tonight. Sing, dance, juggle. Anything goes as long as it's legal. He gave Duncan an, I'm watching you, sign and the punk snapped his fingers, too bad. You will be judged by our resident talent scout, former DJ, VJ, and rap legend Grand Master Chef who will show his approval via the chef-o-meter. Out of nowhere, the ding can be heard and everyone look around for it but Chris speaks again. The team that loses will send 1 camper home tonight. Good luck. The host chuckled as he walks off the stage. Screaming Gophers. Heather blows her whistle before walked by her team and said, okay, I'm the team captain, so here's how it's going to work. Wait, who said you were team captain? Gwen asked. She did, just now. Lindsay replied. Lindsay, Beth, and I took a vote, and I won. Heather gave Gwen a smug smirk. Threatening them to vote for you isn't exactly democratic. The goth girl snarled before Trent show up with a muffin. Hey, snagged you an extra muffin. The musician handed her the food before Heather called out to him. Trent, you're cool with me leading this project, are you? Right on. Go for it. Trent nodded, earning a frown from Gwen. Good. Beth, Lindsay, and I will be the judges. Heather said as the mentioned girls squealed together. Whatever. Gwen deadpanned. Killer bass. Courtney once again takes charge of the project and no one was against it because they don't want to lead the team. So who want to audition first? CIT asked them and Owen raised his hand with gusto. Pick me, pick me, pick. Pick, me. Courtney sighed before nod at him. All right. Owen stands in front of his team with a bottle before chugged it, then burping the entire alphabet. The boys cheered before Courtney shot them down by stating that it was too gross. Maybe next time, Big O. Naruto tried to cheer sulking Oph up. Hey, Naruto, are you going to audition? Bridget asked, recalling that the redhead working in circuses for part-time. Me? I guess I can try out, but it has been a while and I may be a little rusty. Naruto rubbed his head. Oh, what do you do? Courtney raised her eyebrow and Naruto chuckled. As one of clowns, I can do a lot of things, Datbayo. Everyone blinked at him. A clown? I'll put you on the list if we don't have the third one. Courtney groaned, pinching the bridge of her nose. Naruto shrugged, he was fine with it as long as everyone have a chance to try out. Screaming gophers. The team sat with look of shocks on their face as they watched Sadie and Katie dance very badly. No. Heather shook her head, crossed their names off the list before noticing Gwen walk away with a book in her hands. Where are you going? Anywhere, that's not here. Gwen muttered as she disappeared into the wood. The queen bee narrowed her eyes and turns to her team. So far they choose Trent for his music talent and had to take a little break due to Heather changing into her tutu outfit. For my audition, it's ballet route. The queen bee starts to show off her talent and they clapped as she looks at Lindsay and Beth to signal them for their cue. Oh, I vote for Heather to be in the contest. Beth said and Lindsay seconded it. Guys, that's so sweet. Heather acted with hidden smirk. Okay. So I guess I'm in. Why everyone doesn't take a 5? The team accepted it and walks off before Heather stopped Lindsay. I need you to do something. Can you keep a secret? The queen bee demanded. Oh my gosh, definitely. Lindsay nodded. My sister got diarrhea once on her date, and I had to bring her toilet paper because the restaurant was all out and she was stuck in the bathroom, and I've never told a soul. Whoa, TMI. Heather stared at her with unreadable expression. Lindsay nods before remembering something. She was on nationwide television show. Oops, sorry, Paula. Gwen's up to something serious. Heather muttered. Want to forget what the bombshell just revealed and hand her the walkie-talkie. I need you to follow her and report back to me. Okay. Killer bass. After several auditions, DJ was doing a rhythmic dance with a ribbon which everyone clapped to. Fine. Sign him up. Now we have one more spot left, Courtney sighed. The bass team already chose the sit for her violin. Next. Me. Bridget perked up. I can stand on my hands for 20 minutes. Watch. She lifts herself up and stands on her hands. Okay, that'd be cute if you were a monkey. CIT rolls her eyes. I just don't think it's quite what we're looking for. Next. Justin walks to the front of the campers and just flexing his muscles as the girls gushed over him. I can't believe what I'm going to say. Sorry, Justin, that's not talent even if you're this handsome. Courtney sighed and Justin shrugged. It's better to sit out and stay in the game longer. She turned to Naruto and said, Fine, Naruto, you're third. I'll do my best, Datbayo. The redhead grinned as CIT walks off to find Chris and let him know that they have 3 representatives. Screaming gophers. Lindsay returned to Heather without find anything about Gwen. Great, Heather muttered as the gophers get together again for the tryouts. Beth decided to show off her talent with flaming baton route. Are you sure that is safe? Heather asked, worried for her safety. She was not alone because everyone shared her concern. It's okay. I've been practicing, Beth replied, focusing in her route before she tossed them in air. Everyone gulped as the gravity bring them back down before Beth catches them and give a bow. Wow, Heather said as everyone clapped. I think we have our final representative. So it's me, Trent, and Beth. Any objections? There was no objection at all. Gwen, the goth girl, was thinking about what to write in her diary before Cody walked up to her from behind and asked her, What you got there, a journal? Beat it. Gwen grunted. Oh, I got it. Cody sat down next to her as she glared at him. Yeah, it's private, huh? I'm down with that. Yeah, it's cool, brah. The geek attempted to glance into her diary but Gwen got in his face with scowl. What part of beat it don't you understand? Gwen growled, returning to her book until Cody takes a sniffle of her hair. What are you, some kind of freak? The goth girl jumped away from him. You why you just smell really pretty. Cody stuttered, rubbing his arm in embarrassment. It's just soap. Gwen slowly walks backward away from him. Confession. Stupid. I blame the teenager hormone. Cody slapped his forehead over and over. Screaming Gopher's cabin. Heather figured out that the book must be Weird Goth Girl's diary and planned to snatch it as Gwen switched into her swimsuit and go for a swim, Trent joining her. Come on, Lindsay. We have a diary to find. The queen bee smirked and Lindsay looks unsure about it. Killer bass. Courtney was practicing with her violin as the team watched her before Owen asked Bridget, so can you really stand on your hands for 20 minutes? It's awesome. I can't do it because it's too hard. Want to bet that I can't? Bridget smirked as she pulls out a chocolate bar. Oh. Naruto chuckled. I bet 5 bars that she can do it. I bet you can't. Duncan chuckled, playing poker with DJ. Yeah, that's like virtually impossible. DJ laughed and Bridget dared them to ante up before the boys pulled in. Okay, 20 minutes starting now. Bridget said as she get on her hands and walk around as they look at Duncan's watch. The surfer's leg got tangled with the hanging rope and accidentally untied it in process as the spotlight fall down and broke Courtney's violin. The surfer cried, oh crap. You killed my violin? Courtney growled at Bridget as Naruto wrapping the bandages on her head. I don't mean to. Bridget apologized, there must be something we can do. Yeah, it was an accident, Datbeo. We can fix your violin, it's not this bad. Naruto said before the violin fall apart in CIT's hands, causing her to cry harder. Never mind. Backstage, the representatives from each team gathered behind the backstage and starts to warm up before the talent contest to start. Naruto noticed that Heather was in her tutu outfit before he grinned and walked up to her. Yo, Heat-chan. Stop calls me that, idiot. Heather snarled before scowled. What do you want? Nothing much, just to say break a leg. Naruto chuckled. So you are going to do some ballet dancing? It has been a while since I last saw you in it. Heather blinked at his sentence before realizing something. The last time he saw her doing ballet was before. Oh, yeah, I forget about that. Heather mumbled and Naruto ruffled her hair with a smile before the queen bee swatted his hand away. I'm really looking forward to your dance. The queen bee perked at his comment. Really? Yeah, I always enjoy it when you do your ballet, Datbeo. Heather doesn't know why her chest felt tightened, neither her cheeks burning up. Confession. My plan was to read a page out of Weird Goth Girl's diary. Heather frowned, but after hearing what Idiot said about my ballet, for some reason, I don't want to go ahead with my plan. She sighed, Idiot, why does he always affect me? Okay, I know I'm not as good as you are at your violin, but I can do this. Bridget told Courtney before Heather walks up to them. Bridget, the queen bee glared at the surfer, it would suck if something happens to you. What is this supposed to mean? Bridget glared back. Oh nothing. Heather shrugged, oh, and go easy on the chips. You don't want to sink that surfboard of yours and lose his attention, do you? Bridget stopped eating her chips and glare at the queen bee before the surfer throws the bag at Heather. Confession. I wonder if she was just trash-talking me to throw me off during the contest? It really doesn't feel like it. Bridget said before paused, and whose attention was she talking about? Stage. It's the TDI Talent Extravaganza. Chris announced to the audience made up of the campers, welcome to the very first Camp Wawanakwa Talent Contest, where 6 campers will showcase their mad skills and desperately try not to humiliate themselves. The host grinned. Hope they do, Chris chuckled in his head. First up for the Screaming Gophers is Beth. Yeah. Lindsay cheered for her friend as the farmer girl starts to showcase her baton route. At first, she was doing well until one of the flaming batons slipped from her in air. Uh-oh. Beth nervously gulped as the baton crashed into her and Chris walks up to her with a chuckle. Don't your ma tell you to not to play with fire or you'll get burned. He paused to chuckle again as Chef O-meter dinged 4 times, but Chef really liked the first half of your route. That's good, I think? Beth groaned as she walks to the backstage. First up for the killer bass, make some noise for the big guy, DJ. The bass team cheered as DJ leapt into the stage and danced around for a while until the ribbons got tangled with his legs, bringing him down with a thump. Ooh, the campers winced as Chris chuckled again. Dainty and yet masculine, let's see what Grandmaster Chef thinks. Chris said before the Chef O-meter dinged twice, not much. DJ walked off dejected as Chris kept talking, so with 2 down and 4 acts to go, it's the Screaming Gophers screaming ahead, next is Trent. Take it away, my bro. This one goes out to someone special here at camp. Trent smiled as he starts to play his guitar and singing a song. They say that we've only got summer. And I say that's a really bummer. But we'll swim in the sun and have lots of fun. It's just be the two of us. Nothing to do but just hang. So let me say only this. I'd stick around for just one kiss. The campers applauded as Chris ran to Trent's side and patted him on back. Nice work. I liking your style, dude, the chef-o-meter dinged 8 times, and so does Grandmaster Chef. The musician waved to the campers before frowning Chris shove him off the stage. All right, quit hogging my lights, buddy. The host turns to the camera with grin as if he doesn't shove someone off just now. 3 down and 3 to go. And the killer bass are totally sucking so far. Let's hear it for Bridget. In the backstage, Courtney looked at nervously Bridget and asked, "Are you sure you can do this?" "Oh, definitely." Bridget nods, holding her rumbling stomach. "And no, I'm great." "Break a leg, Bree-chan." Naruto smiled as he put a makeup on his lower face and Bridget smiled at him. "I hope it don't go bad." Courtney whined in her mind as Bridget walked to the center of the stage on her hands. It wasn't long until she starts to burp loudly, earning some smiles from male campers. I don't feel so go," was the last thing that Bridget thinks before she vomited on the stage upside down. The campers gasped in horror as the surfer projected her vomits all over, causing some campers to vomit before she falls down. It's like watching The Exorcist. Chef laughed as Chris tries to keep his dinner down. "Clean up on aisle 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chris groaned in disgust as he steps over the vomit puddles. "We will take a break in meantime so we can hose the joint down." He finally throws up his dinner. Bridget moaned in the backstage as Naruto cleaned her face up with wet towel. "Do you feel better now?" the redhead asked. "A little, but it was embarrassing." The surfer moaned again. "Thank for help me out." "No problem, Bree-chan." Naruto smiled at her as he gently rubbed her cheek with towel, "And there, you're clean." Bridget nods with rosy cheeks. She felt scared that she will be sent home after this challenge and for some reason, she will miss Naruto a lot. "No way, it can't." Bridget's eyes widened. "And welcome back to Talent Extravaganza." Chris said, "Okay." So in a strange turn of events, Bridget's chunk-blowing fest registered 2 thumbs up by Grandmaster Chef. But it's not enough to pull ahead of the Screaming Gophers who hold the lead with Trent's love song. The host shrugged, so without further delay, here she is for the leaders, Heather with her Swan Lake. "Remember, Heather, only 20 minutes. Music, please." The queen bee clapped her hands as the intern played the Swan Lake. Heather slowly moves around before dance among the song and out of her eye's corner, she can see Naruto smiling at her. It went on until the end of time and the campers clapped. "That was lovely, Heather. Who can think that you have a soft heart?" Chris smirked, knowing about Heather's plan involving with Goth Girl and Diary, thanks to the cameras. It almost brings a tear to Grandmaster Chef. The chef-o-meter dinged 7 times. HMMPH. Heather turns her nose up in air as she walks off the stage. "Well, then it's down to the final act of the night." Chris smiled. "Can Naruto and his tricks turn it around?" "I seriously doubt it. Let's find out." The host walks backward off the stage as the circus music rang out in air. "Hello, gentlemen and ladies." A huge ball bounced into the stage before a puff of smoke popped on top of the ball to reveal a clown balancing on the ball. He was wearing a black kabuki half mask, only revealing his white painted lower face, and it made his red hair to form a mane. The campers noticed that he was wearing an orange and red jester outfit with black frill collar and white frill cuff. "My name is Joka." The clown bowed as he flipped his hand. The daggers appeared out of nowhere and started to juggle them in air. "Let me tell you a little story." Joka giggled as he lifts one of his legs up in air behind his back, balancing on the ball with one foot. There was a family of 3. A son named Trouble, a father named Shut Up, and a mother named None of Your Business. The campers raised their eyebrows as Joka starts to roll around on the large balls, still juggling the daggers. Trouble was in his backyard, playing on a swing while his parents were in the house. The boy got bored, so he decided to visit his friend next door without telling his parents. The clown tossed all the daggers in air before flipping air a couple times and landed back on the ball, resuming his juggle without dropping one dagger. "Whoa," Lashana made a "oh" with her mouth as everyone nods with her. It was getting late, so the father comes out to call the boy back in. "Trouble, come inside, it's late." The father said before he looks around the backyard to see the boy was not there. He look at his wife and back to the yard a few times before he finally say, "Honey." "Yes, dear?" the mother said. "Is it me or did the daggers multiplied?" Cody muttered in shock as the daggers split in two. The father told her that the boy is gone. "What? Where's my kid?" The mother cried and the father tried to calm her down. "Get in the car, we'll look for him," he said as they take the car and went out in the city at night, screaming, "Trouble," over and over. Joka starts to swing his hips around as the hoop mysteriously appeared out of nowhere like if it was magic. They kept screaming and call out until the cop cars stop and pull them over. The police walk up to them. "Do you know why I pull you over for?" "Office, you have to help us. We can't find our boy." The father cried. "Oh, can you give me your name, sir?" Oh. Chef chuckled, figured out what'll happen next. The father told him, "Yes, shut up." The police stares at him before ask him again, "Sir? I just asked for your name." The father looked confused. "I said shut up." They kept going on until the police decided to go to the mother's side. "Your husband is very rude. Can you tell me his name and yours too?" The mother nodded to him before saying, "Shut up, nope of your business." The campers start to chuckle. The police frowned at them before saying, "Are you looking for trouble?" The parent looks at each other before screaming at the police, "Yes." And that end our story. Joka grinned as the daggers burst into colorful confetti in air and the clown bowed to them. "Now that's a talent." Chris clapped wildly as he walks to the clown. "Sweet persona, Naruto." "Thank, dude." Naruto chuckled, taking his mask off. "It looks like you laughed the pant off Grandmaster Chef and he really totally love it." The Chef-O master dinged 9 times, what a huge turnaround. The screaming gophers have been trampled by the killer base. "That's amazing." Bridget cheered as the killer base team gather around Naruto. "And as for the screaming gophers, pick your favorite loser and I'll see you at the campfire." Chris chuckled. "Campfire. Kudos to you all for an incredible night of entertainment, music, drama, barfs," Chris said as he passes the marshmallow without calling out for their names since there was no time. Only Sadie and Beth don't get their marshmallow yet, there's only one marshmallow left on this plate. Beth gulped as she trembles in her seat. Sadie looked very worried and she looked at Katie. Chris humming the theme song of TDI show as the campers glared at him for dragging it too long. "Beth." The farmer girl grabs her marshmallow and Sadie cried out. "No, Katie." Sadie. The BFF hugged each other and sobbed. "Enough with waterworks, ladies." Chris muttered with a frown. Why do they always have to be so dramatic over a little separation? It's not like they won't see each other again. Confession. Heather shrugged her shoulders, it was too easy. I told Beth and Lindsay to vote against Sadie and I just blackmailed Harold. Static. Heather found out about my secret crush. I don't want anyone to know about it. Why did my letter had to fell out of my pocket in front of Heather? Harold sobbed in his hands. The nerd dropped it when the screaming gophers were on their way to vote. Dock of shame. I'll miss you, Katie. Sadie sobbed, waving from the moving boat. I'll miss you too, Sadie. Katie shouted back with a sob. I'll miss you. I'll miss you too. That went on until the ship disappeared into the fog. Naruto stares at his house with uncertainly expression before a hand touched his shoulder. You okay, kid? Yeah, OG-san. The redhead sighed before look up to Heather's father. Thank again for let me stay at your house, Dat Bayo. No problem, you're like a family to us since your mother moved in next door. Naruto give him a small smile. You can use the guest room, come on, Naruto. With one last glance at his house, Naruto entered Heather's house. Killer base cabin. Get your asses up, maggots. Chow time. Chef's voice roars out of the loudspeaker as Naruto's eyes snaps opened. Owen was the only camper that slept in. The redhead won't be surprised if Big O can sleep through storm if there was one. And it was getting good. Duncan muttered before the punk jump out of his bed. Dibs on shower. Duncan said as he grabbed some of his clothes and kick Owen's bed to wake the oaf up since they both share same bunk beds. Chocolate donuts with shrimps topping. The boys raised their eyebrows and give Owen a weird look. What the hell did he dreamed about? Outside, Katie sobbed into her hands. Her best friend was gone and what was she going to do now? She gave out a wail before someone speaks up behind her. Are you okay? The girl blinked, turns to face the geek. Cody? Katie was not sure if it was his name but she overheard Gwen muttered about him in passing. Yeah, Cody rubbed his neck. I just saw you crying and, well. He was on his way to the communal bathroom before noticed Katie wailing on the log. Oh, Katie sobbed again, freaking Cody out. Sadie. The geek gulped before he sit down next to her and patting her back. He don't know how to comforting girls at all. Do you want to talk about it? What? The geek doesn't know what to say and that's all he can think right now. The skinny half look at him before nods her head and start to vents out on him as he patting her back over and over. Campfire. After their breakfast, Chris told everyone to meet him at the campfire pit for their challenge. Campers, the host starts his explanation. Today's challenge will test your outdoor survival skills. I'm not gonna lie to you, some of you may not come back alive. Some of the campers gasped before Chris chuckled at their expressions. Just kidding. All you have to do is spend one night in the woods. Everything you need is at your team's campsite in the forest. You just have to find it. He pulls out a couple of maps before tossed them to the leader of the teams and give them a warning. Oh, and watch out for bears. Lost a couple of interns in pre-production. Good thing we have Naruto. Courtney sighed. If the redhead can tame man-eating sharks, then it's possible that the bears won't attack the killer base team. First team back for breakfast wins invincibility. Chris said before pressing his air horn. Well, off you go, and don't die. The host chuckled again as he leaves. Did he say there are bears up in here? Lashana asked with bewildered eyes before Owen starts to tell everyone about his encounter with Bear. Really? That's cool, Big O. Naruto grinned at his large friend and Lashana muttering under her breath. Something about wishing that they were in her team and fighting a bear. Oh, this one time, Izzy giggled as she jumps on Naruto's back. I saw a bear eating our garbage. He had old spaghetti noodles hanging from his big, huge teeth, and it looked like blood and guts. We thought he was eating the neighbor's cat, Simba. Everyone stares at Izzy with weird look, but it turned out that he was just lost for a week. I see? Duncan muttered, not sure how to make a comment about her story. Let's go. Courtney barked at her team. She doesn't want to let the Gophers win another challenge. Screaming Gophers. Hey Gwen, wait up. Trent called out to the goth girl but she just ignored him and walked away from him before he ran up to her side. Can I walk with you? Nope, Gwen grunted angrily. She just wants to be left alone for a while. Oh, come on, you're moping over the fact that I just read your diary? Heather rolls her eyes as Gwen glared at the queen bee. That is so lame. Whatever. The goth girl snapped before stomps away from her team. Killer base. The team was following Courtney as she kept checking her map time from time. A mosquito lands on Justin's face before he swatted it and pulled out a mirror to check himself for any bite. Naruto blinked, noticing that the model just stopped and turned to him. Dude, you alright? Yeah, just checking, go ahead, I'll catch up. Naruto glanced at his team before give out a sigh. Fine, but don't get lost and stay on the path, Datbayo. Justin nodded as Naruto ran to catch up with the team. The model turns back to his mirror and winked at it. He's so perfect and everyone knows it. Screaming Gophers. Heather growled. She was getting tired of this weird goth girl sulking around and whispered back to her team. She is so the next one to leave. Who? Beth asked before Heather answers her by pointing at Gwen. But you're the one who read her diary, girl, that's privacy thing. Lashana glared at the queen bee. The said girl shrugged her shoulders. Katie, you doing okay? Jeff asks the girl and Katie nods at him with saddened expression. Yeah, she gave out a small smile, thinking about the geek and how he comforted her. Killer base. There's no food here. Owen nervously chuckles. The team finally found their camping site and he was very hungry for some foods. This is a survival challenge, Courtney said, emphasizing on survival. It earns a wine out of the large oaf and the CIT rolls her eyes before look at the instruction. It says that we have to find our foods in wild. The campers sighed. It looked like it's going to be a long day for everyone. I bet right now, He-chan would say something about diet. Naruto chuckled. Somewhere a certain camper sneezed. Izzy popped up right next to Naruto, making him jump a bit. Hey, Red, you know what would be fun? The crazy girl grins at Naruto. What if a bear show up when we call them out? Right, that would be so fun. Owen giggled as he grabs them in bear hug and joyously growls, I'm a bear. Rawr, shut up, Courtney yelled at Owen, causing him to whining again. Confession, Courtney is really mean to me today. Owen whined, poking his fingers together before blink at the camera. And why'd I have a weird feeling that we missed someone? There was a pause before he shakes his head. Nah. Screaming gophers. I'm so hungry. Heather groaned as the campers waited for Jeff and Harold to come back from their hunt. Yo, who ordered the pepperoni pizza? A delivery boy hollered at the group, with extra cheese? The campers raised their eyebrows. How the hell did he get on the island? It's for the camera crew, over here. The cameraman waves him over and the gophers glared at the camera crew. What? We need to eat, one of the interns nervously said as their glares get harder before a voice stopped them. We're men now. Harold laughed as Jeff showed up with fishes. Are you kidding me? Heather gaping at them. The gophers cheered for foods. How do you know how to fish? Jeff grinned at the campers. It's really easy to catch fishes with my hat. A hat? Seriously? Gwen deadpanned. That's ridiculous. Confession. Yeah? Jeff chuckled. My bro was really crazy but his ideas always work out well. Killer base. Everyone was doing their own tasks while Owen was cooking the fishes under Duncan's eyes since they figures that the lovable oaf may end up eat their dinner. Naruto's eyes glanced at Bridget as they set up the tent. He can't help but wonders why he kept taking glances at the surfer and he never noticed Cody elbowing Tyler as they both snickering under their breath. What's for dinner, woman? I'm starving. Duncan smirked at Courtney, receiving a glare from her. I hope you don't expect me to dignify that with a response. The CIT growled. Hey, guys, look what I found. Everyone turns their head to DJ and see that he was petting a rabbit in his arms. The rabbit coughs and stares at them with big doe eyes. Well, I never had rabbit stew before, but what the heck, I'm game. Duncan said before the giant gasped at him. No, that is my new pet. DJ turns his body to shield his rabbit from the punk. I'm calling him Bunny. You can't find any other foods? Courtney sighed. Then it looks like we'll have fishes and berries for dinner. Has anyone seen Pretty Boy? Duncan asked before everyone's eyes widened. They just forget about Justin. Justin, hello, anyone out there? The model asked, glancing around the woods and trying to find his teammates. He don't notice that it's dark already since he was busy adoring himself in the mirror. Confession, I can't help it, I'm too why. Justin smiled, staring into his mirror. I'm so perfect and flawless. The model flexed his muscles before making a kissy face with his mirror. Justin blinks as he found a cave and shrugged his shoulders. That would make a good shelter until morning. He walks inside and starts to scream as the bats flew and hugs his face. My face. The model cried out. Screaming gophers. I think the fishes are ready. Harold said, handing out the fishes to the gophers. Thank man, fish looks awesome. Trent said before chewing on his fish. There was silence between the team before someone decided to break it. So, anyone get a campfire story? Jeff asked and Heather glared at him. No story, we're not kids anymore. The party boy pouted. He just wants to hear some stories and it was too boring. Killer base. Bridget gasps out of fear as the owl hooted out in the night. Be cool, it's just an owl. DJ reassured the surfer and petting his rabbit. It was late and most of the campers voted not to look for Justin since they believe that he can find them soon. Sorry, I just get really freaked out in the forest. Bridget shivered and Naruto put his hand on her shoulder with a smile. Don't worry, you got us, dat bayo. Bridget smiled back with a pinkish tint on her face. This reminds me of this really scary story I heard once. Duncan smirked at Bridget's expression as she whines. Really? Awesome. Tell it, tell it. Owen claps his hands. Oh. We can all take a turn to tell stories. That's not bad idea. Tyler said with a nod. Are you sure? Duncan asked with poker face because the story I'm thinking of is pretty hardcore. Ooh, we're so scared. Courtney muttered sarcastically as she rolling her eyes. All right, but don't say that I didn't warn you. Duncan smirked before starts his story. One night, a lot like this one. Trailer. Chris, you need me? Chef asked, ducking under the door and turned to the host behind his desk. Chris looks up from his papers before give the cooker a nod. Yeah, I want to ask you about next challenge when the campers come back tomorrow morning. Chris hands out a piece of paper to Chef. I was thinking of have a fear-based challenge, what do you think? That's not bad idea. Chef chuckled at the idea of terrorizing the teenagers before he noticed something sticking on the back of paper and peels it off, revealing it to be a picture. Huh? Who's that? The cooker asked as he handed it back to Chris and the host looked at it before give a small smile. Chef raised one of his eyebrows. He has been working with Chris for many years and he never had seen him make a real smile in whole of his career life. Sir, you alright? Chris blinked before give a nod. Yeah, I'm fine, it's just someone that got away. Chef give out a "ah" sound. Everyone always have someone that got away and he know what it was like. I see, well, Chef sighed as he rubbed his head. I'm going to make breakfast for tomorrow night. Oh, night? Chris placed the picture down and gives out a weary sigh. It has been long time since he thinks about his first love. Killer base. Duncan's horror story was almost done as the campers shivered, so suddenly, they heard this tapping on the side of the car. Even the guy was getting a bit scared. So he turned the car on and he stepped on it. When they got back to the girl's house, she opened the door and screamed, because there was hanging on the door handle. Duncan smirked before pull out a bloody hook with scary expression, was the bloody hook. The campers screamed at the hook as Duncan crackled at them. Duncan, Courtney shouted, that was so not funny. Oh yeah, it was. Duncan tapping his chin, I just wish that it was all on camera. Oh wait, it is. The punk smirked at Courtney before she snarled at him. There was a howling in the forest before she hugged Duncan out of fear and the punk smirked at Naruto as he gave him a thumb up. Anyone get a story? Izzy giggled and everyone looks at each other before Naruto scratches his head. Well, I guess I have one. What do you mean? DJ blinked at Redhead. It's a folktale, passed down through my family for generations. That's awesome. Tell it, tell it. Owen bounces in his seat and Naruto chuckled at him as everyone returned to their seats. The redhead nods before clearing his throat. Long time ago in an old era of Japan, there was a red kitsune, a fox demon, living in a mountain next to a village. He would come down each year to play pranks on the villagers for fun. It went on for many years and years, unless a beautiful maiden was born in this village and had caught many men's attentions. Naruto chuckled and everyone blinked. Sadly for the men, they were turned down by her because she claimed that she was waiting for her destined one that she never met. Wait, how does she know if it's her one? Cody cut in and Naruto grinned at the geek. You'll find out. Anyway, her beauty was so great that the kitsune fall in love at first sight, so he decided to take a form of a man and he come down the mountain to see her. He asked her for her hand in marriage and the maiden refused, but the kitsune was very stubborn and kept wooing her for days. Unless he come up with an idea and make a vow, if it don't win her heart, he will give up, so he retreated to his mountain. What was the idea? Owen asked, only to get a lot of shushes from other campers. The maiden decided to follow the kitsune and spied on him. She discovered that the man was the kitsune. The campers gasped, but she made no sounds and saw him plucking his own red furs out and crafting them into something, so she returned to her village and waited for the kitsune. She was very curious about his idea. A week later, the kitsune come down in his human form and asked the maiden to show him her pinky finger, so she did. He pulled out a long red string and tied it around her pinky finger before tied another end to his own pinky. A red string? Duncan muttered with confusion. The maiden asked him what it is and the kitsune replied, that is the red string of fate and it won't break at all because it is the symbolic of my love for you. I truly love you and I ask for your hand for the marriage. The maiden was moved and asks him to reveal his true form, shocking the kitsune, but he did and it turned out that he used all of his red furs. The maiden told him that she loved him and the kitsune was so happy that he told her that he will grant her anything. The maiden told him, I want two things. First, you will always love me no matter what. The kitsune agreed. Second, I want you to give our children and their children to have your beautiful red hairs. The kitsune was surprised, but he granted her wishes. For many generations, the descendants of the kitsune and the maiden have red hairs to symbolize their love, and it was said that our red hair is the red string of fate which will help us find our loved ones. That's the end of story. Naruto grinned at them. Really? So you're related to the kitsune? Owen gasped and the redhead laughed. Nah, it's just a folktale that my ancestors used to explain to their children why we have red hair instead of black hair. Datbayo. I think it's really interesting. Courtney said as some of campers nods. Only Duncan don't, since he never liked mushy stories. Confession. So if I take Red's hair and ties it on my pinky finger, does that mean we'll be together forever? Izzy giggled, that mean I will have a lot of whisker times. Static. Duncan wiped something out of his eye before glare at the camera. I don't cry. It was so lame. I can't stand mushy stories and it's stupid about how the kitsune won her heart. The punk sniffles before glare again and punch the camera. Did someone heard a scream when I was telling the story? Naruto asked and everyone blinked at him. Nah, I must imagined it. Screaming gophers. Whose idea was it to climb the tree? Lashana muttered as they sat on the branches in the tree. The reason why they were up there is because below them was a bear, eating their dinner before it looked up to them with a growl. She doesn't know who screamed out that they had to climb the tree, but she bet it was the queen bee. Can't it get any worse? Heather growled before there was a sound of booming and rain fall down harder. And you have to get Murphy's Law involved? Gwen deadpanned, getting a growl out of Heather's mouth. Killer base. The team decided to turn in early since it was raining and no one wanted to stay out. Naruto noticed that Bridget was up and fidgeting around while glance out of the tent. What's wrong? The redhead asked the surfer and she turns to him with nervous expression. Just too scared to sleep. There was a lot of howling and hooting out there before Bridget shivered. Naruto blinks before move closer to her. And Naruto? I figure that if I sleep next to you, maybe you will be less scared, right? The surfer timidly nods. It was kind of true that she was feeling little better when Naruto was next to her. I guess so. Bridget stares at Naruto's face before move his arm out and lays her head on it. BB Bree-chan? Naruto stuttered with lightly red blush on his face, but she doesn't answer and turns his head around to see her fall asleep. Night. Naruto smiled before slowly closed his eyes. Screaming gophers. Why'd I have an urge to kill blonde and idiot? Heather growled. What did I do? Jeff gulped before get hit by a squirrel, courtesy of the queen bee. Justin. Nice bear? Justin whined as the bear cuddled with him inside the cave. Killer base. It was morning and some of the campers were staring at a sight that no one wants to forget. Boy, I sure wish we have camera. Tyler said, trying to hold back his laughter. I have one, I took a couple. Cody snickered, waving a camera around. Nice, think you can make copies for us? Duncan smirked and the geek gives a nod. Bridget move around at night before ending up cuddling with Naruto as his arm warps around her waist. Their heads were close that it looked like they were about to kiss and the campers can't wait to tease them about it. You know what? Let's wake Bridget up first so Naruto would be clueless all day, huh guys? The punk chortled and the team agreed with a grin. I wish I can cuddle with Red. Izzy pouted. Screaming gophers. Well, I think it's safe now. Trent groaned as he stretched his back out. It has been a while since the bear disappeared into the forest. The bear is gone. And the map. Gwen sighed, holding up a ruined map that was ripped by the bear during his search for foods. I'm too stiff. Lindsay whined, rubbing her neck and Beth nodded as she moves her arms around. You know what? Heather snarled crankily, I don't want to hear another word from anyone here. She was fed up with lacking of sleep and tired of everyone whining about their bodies. A blue bird flew down on the top of tent and started chirping, shut up. The gophers shouted at the bird, causing it to fall down with a frightened chirp. Campfire. Lousy no good bum. Chris grumbled mentally as he tossed a wood into the campfire pit. Why don't any interns do their job properly? He can hear footsteps running up right behind before he turns to see Killer Base Team. Wait a second. Is it him or does it look like there was one less fish? We're the first ones back. Courtney panted. Oh no. They beat us here. Heather growled as her team shows up right away before she snarled, stupid bear. Chris shakes his head, not so fast, gopherinos. It seems that the Killer Base are missing a pretty fish. Oh, you mean Justin? Courtney giggled nervously, I'm pretty sure he got eaten by wolves last night. Duncan nods his head before Justin ran past the group with a scream. Dude, you alright? Naruto asked the panting model before Justin make gibberish sounds. They swear that he was saying something about bear, bat, and his face. Courtney cleared her throat. Are you done, Justin? The model nods and she smiled. Good, because thanks to you, we just lost the challenge. The CIT shouted at the cowering model. All right, Killer Base. Chris speaks up with a chuckle. One of your fishy butts is going home. The host turns to another team. Gophers, you're going on an all-expense-paid trip to the tuck shop. I never heard of that place. Naruto muttered with a raised eyebrow as the Gophers team ran off with a cheer. It must be one of these famous shops. Justin gulped after seeing the Bass's glares. You've all cast your votes. Chris said, he decided that they have a campfire ceremony early just for a kick and to keep everything interesting for the rates. The camper who does not receive a marshmallow must immediately hit the dock of shame. grab the boat of losers, and get the hell out of here. The host grinned with narrowed eyes. And you can't come back, now I can see that some of you are tired, so, catch them. Chris throws the marshmallows out while calling out their names: Owen, DJ, Courtney, Izzy, Tyler, Naruto, Duncan, Bridget. Only Cody and Justin left, and Chris tosses the final marshmallow in air. This is the final marshmallow. He paused and the boys look at each other. Cody gulped. Justin pulls out a mirror and winked at his reflection. Chris sighed before toss it to the geek. Sorry, Justin, it's not right and your pretty face can't save you from elimination. The model shrugged his shoulders and stand up. Dock of shame. Sorry, dude, Naruto said as the teammates nods their heads. Nah, don't worry. I have a good time. Justin leaned closer to Naruto's ear and whispered, good luck with the girls. Huh? What are you talking about? Naruto blinked and the model chuckled at him. Nothing, dude. Naruto shrugged as Justin waving his hand at his former teammates before the boat takes off. Killer base. Naruto rubbed his head as he looked at Bridget before she adjusting her glance to somewhere else, and was that a blush on her face. Are you okay? The redhead asked and the surfer jumped in her seat. Oh, yeah, I am. Naruto tilted his head, not noticing the campers snickering behind his back. He was about to say something but Courtney cut him off with a growl as she stand up to face the incoming gophers. What do you guys want? Courtney glared with hands on her hip. Come by to rub it in? We got some extra dessert after our tuck shop party, Trent said as Beth lifts a plate of green jello like if it was a peace offering. Thought if you might want some. So what? You're just being nice? Courtney said suspiciously. What are they up to? Fine. Gwen sighed. Harold's red ants just got out and they are everywhere in our cabin. The gophers glared at the nerd. Right now, we're waiting for the ants to clear out. Need my help? Naruto chuckled and the gophers shakes their heads. There was too many ants and they feels that it will be too much for one guy alone. Beth walks up to Courtney and attempting to hand the plate to the CIT. No, Courtney cried, taking a step back before recomposed herself. I mean, no thanks. I'm good. What? Are you on a diet or something? Duncan scoffed. Courtney snarled at the punk. No. I just don't like green jelly, okay? Beth shrugged before offering it to DJ, only to have the giant swatted it away with a shriek. Snake. Everyone watches on as the plate flew and lands on ground, spilling jello all over. Chill, dude, it's just a gummy worm. Cody said with a pout. He really wants to have this gummy worm. Sorry for tripping, guys. DJ sighed. Snakes just freak me out. I feel you. Tyler said as he patting DJ's back. Chicken give me the creeps, dude. You're afraid of chickens? Gwen asked with weird look as everyone raised their eyebrows. Wow, that's really lame, man. Duncan chuckled. Can't believe that a jock is afraid of fowls. Confession. So suddenly, everyone's having this big share fest by the fire, at afternoon. Gwen sighed and starts to recapping, like Beth went on and on about how her mortal fears being covered by bugs. Harold's afraid of ninjas. Even Heather admitted that she's afraid of sumo wrestlers. Static. Naruto chuckled guilty. My Alpha S51 prank was the one that gave Heat-chan a fear of sumo wrestlers, Datbayo. What's my worst fear? Gwen gulped. I guess, being buried alive. Walking through a minefield, in heels? Lindsay shivered. Flying, man, that's some crazy stuff. Owen said and Izzy agreed with him, both shares same fears. I'm scared of hail. Jeff glanced at the sky, it's small but deadly, dude. Being left alone in the woods. Bridget sighed. Bad haircut? Katie said before Lindsay changed her mind about her fear and agreed with Katie. Having to defuse a time bomb under pressure. Cody whined. I'm really not afraid of anything. Courtney said with a smirk. Baloney. Duncan coughed, earning a glare from the CIT. Oh, really? Well, what exactly is your phobia, Mr. Know-It-All? The punk's eyes widened as everyone stares at him. CE, Celine Dion music store standees. Duncan sighed and some of the campers snicker at him. Squeeze me? Cody snickered, I didn't quite get that. Dude, did you just said Celine Dion standees? Trent chuckled and Lindsay squealed. Ooh, I love Celine Dion. The bombshell paused. What's a standee? Trent chuckled. You know, that cardboard cutout thing that stand in the music store. Don't say it, dude. Duncan threatened with his fist but the musician ignored him. Kind of like a life-size, but flat, Celine. They started to tease him for a while before Duncan slaps his ears with hands. Shut up. The punk pointed at the last couple. What about you, guys? Okay. Well, I hate mimes, like, a lot. Trent said, trying to pass it off as peace offering to Duncan. He turned to Naruto since he was the only one beside Courtney that doesn't share their fear yet. What about you, dude? My fear? Naruto flinched before rubbing his chest, which everyone noticed for the first time. Well, my scar. The redhead sighed. Seriously? That's your fear? Courtney rolls her eyes and some of the campers frowned at her. Yeah? Naruto scratched his head with a small frown. It's something that you won't understand, Datbayo. So what about you? Heather cut in, attempting to change the topic by asking Courtney with a glare. Nope, nothing. Courtney replied smugly. It looks like the queen bee's attempt was successful. That's not what she said last night. Duncan whispered to DJ. Duncan, did you ever consider that maybe I was just humoring you in your stupid story? Sure, princess. The punk rolls his eyeballs. Whatever floats your boat. Shut up, the CIT snarled. While everyone was talking, Katie sat next to Cody with a smile. Hey Cody, I want to thank you for yesterday when, you know. Katie muttered as she pulls out a pile of candies and offers them to the geek as his eyes lit up at the sight of candies. Here, I got them for you. Thank, Katie. Cody starts to gobble them up. I can't resist candies. He stopped before hands her piece of candy. Here. He gave her a gap-teethed grin before returning to his candies. Never noticed a little blush on Katie's face. Main Lodge. Once again, it was morning since the campers stay up late to chat and everyone was eating their breakfast before Chris walked inside with a whistle. It set off alarms in the campers' heads. Campers, your next challenge is a little game I like to call Phobia Factor. Chris grinned at them, prepared to face your worst fears. Phobia Factor? It sounds like fear. Naruto was about to say it before Chris make a zip it sign with his hand. Worse than this? Lashana muttered as she lifted Chef's mystery meat. We're in trouble. Gwen deadpanned. Now for our first victims, Heather. Chris chuckled, meet us all at the theater. Heather shrugged her shoulders and take a sip from her cup, it's sumo time. The queen bee spit out her drink and gasped at smirking Chris. Gross? Trent mumbled, wiping the drink off his face. He was unlucky that he sat in front of Heather. Gwen, you, me, the beach. Chris told Gwen, a few tons of sand. The goth girl give out a gasp before Lindsay speaks up. Wait. How did they know those were your worst fears? Because we told them. Gwen slapped her forehead, realized something that the campers forget about. At the campfire last night, and on camera. Wait, they were listening to us? Lindsay gasped. It's a reality show. Gwen deadpanned, they always listening to us. That's like eavesdropping. Chef Hatchet, Chris chuckled, didn't you have a special order for Tyler here today? The cooker nodded with a maniacal grin before thrusting a deep fryer in the jock's face. Everyone can see that it was a deep-fried chicken. Tyler whined as he picks it up and stares at it before take the head off with a light bite. The campers kept staring before a living chicken come out of the deep-fried chicken and clucked at Tyler, causing him to screaming out loud. What the fuck? Cody muttered. How can you fry a living chicken without killing it? Outside, Beth was first to face her fear and took a leap of faith, earning the first point for Screaming Gophers team. And Beth sets the bar way up there. Chris chuckled before turns to Naruto. There is a way to earn a point for your team. You has to take the shirt off to show your scar, just once, but it must be done before the end of this challenge. The redhead frowned before sighed and walked away from his team. Hey, where are you going? Courtney stomped her feet and Naruto waved her away with a reply that he'll be at dock. Well, guys, come with me. Chris said, beckoning everyone to come with him for their fear challenge. Dock. Naruto sighed, he don't know how long he has been staring at water for, was it an hour or more than that? He gives out another sigh as he kicks the water around. A huge shadow casts over him, causing him to look behind to see frowning Chef. Chef? Naruto blinked and the cooker sighed before sit down next to him. They both just stare at the water in silence and it was kind of awkward for Naruto. Chef glances at the redhead. Early he was on his way to change into his flight attendant uniform and he noticed Naruto mopping around. It took him a while to approach the brat because he wants to give the kid a piece of his mind about the scars since he found out through cameras filming. Brat, listen, I'm not good at that shit but I want you to know something. Chef finally spoke before glance at the teenager to make sure he was listening. I can understand what it likes to be afraid of your own scars. You act like your scar come from accident or something like that. Naruto blinked before look at the cooker as chef rubbing his neck. I'm not going to ask how you got yours, but I know that every time when you see your own scar, you start thinking of the bad thing that happened. Yeah, look, chef said, pulling down his shirt's collar to reveal a faintly bullet scar and pull his shirt up a bit to show more bullet scars so faintly that Naruto had to squirt his eyes to see them. I got these when I was in army. It was an ambush, I barely survived it. Naruto's eyes widened. For a while, I always think of this ambush when I look at my scars, you know? The redhead nodded. It took me a while until a wise man gives me a piece of advice. When you look at your own scars, just forget how you got them but take a good look at your own scar and say to yourself that it's a mark. A mark? Naruto muttered, rubbing his chest. A mark? Chef muttered before placing his hand on Naruto's shoulder. That you survived to live another day. Don't be ashamed of your own scar. Just take a good look at your own scar and say that is a mark of survivor. Chef's hand tightened before the cooker grunted. Fuck, I'm not good at pep talk. Nah, I think I kind of get it. Naruto chuckled, thanks chef. The cooker nodded before he gets up on his feet. Yeah, I have to go now and take punks out on a flight, remember what I said. Naruto nodded as chef walks off before he stopped. Oh, and don't tell anyone that I just tried to give you a pep talk. Don't want anyone to think that I'm going softy on you brats. Sure, but it will be hard since it's on camera, datbayo. Naruto said cheekily, laughing inside as chef's eyes widened before glared at the camera crew. Delete this part, or you will regret it. Chef growled as the crew quickly nods their heads out of fear. Confession, I dunno why I just reach out to this brat. Chef said grumpily, I just figured that kid need to hear it from someone else who can understand what it's like. The cooker crossed his arms, I'm sure Chris will give me an earful if he found out. Beach. Naruto decided to check on his team and see how they are doing with their fear. Look, the cloud is following him. Naruto blinked at the voice before look up to see Lindsay pointing at screaming Jeff as he was running away from. Is that cloud actually following him? Naruto raised his eyebrow as the cloud dropped a lot of hails on the party boy. The redhead shakes his head before noticing Heather staring at him with concern and he smiled at her, showing that he was okay right now. The queen bee blinks before turn her nose up in air, making Naruto chuckle at her behavior. Killer base. Hey Naruto. DJ waved at the redhead as he walks up to them. You're alright? Yeah, DJ. Someone gave me a pep talk, datbayo. Naruto chuckled before looks around his team to see Owen, Izzy, Bridget and Cody missing. So how are we doing? It's tied now, 2-2. DJ sighed, he finally overcome his fear of snakes for now. The giant filled his redhead friend in about the challenge so Naruto can catch up with everything. Ah, I see, I hope they are doing okay right now. Naruto said before there was an explosion in a distance. What was that? I think the geek just blew himself up. Duncan smirked, wish I was there to laugh at him right now. Owen and Izzy ran past them and kissed the ground. It looked like they were able to beat their fear. It wasn't long enough until a shriek echoed out of the forest and the killer base team blinked. It sounded like Bridget's voice before the said surfer ran up to the team, screaming something about zombie. Bree whoa. Naruto yelped as she ran into his arms. The redhead blinks at her before look at the smirking killer base team. Can someone help me? Cody whined, stumbling into their sight in garbage. It turns out that he was the zombie that Bridget was screamed about. Chicken pen. Chris gathered the teams and brings them to a chicken pen as he told them that the screaming gophers are leading right now, 7-5. Alright, gang, we're in the 9th inning. Chris grinned, he was having fun terrorizing the teenagers. I don't recall anyone playing baseball? Naruto muttered and Chris glared. How many times did this redhead kid interrupted him? Anyway, Tyler, for your challenge, you need to get into this pen for 3 minutes with these chickens. Chris grinned as he points at the hen with 2 baby chicks and Tyler paled at the sight. You can do it, Tyler. Bridget encouraged the jock. Duncan chuckled, yeah, unless, of course, you're chicken. I'm not sure we're getting anywhere on this one. Chris said as he watches Tyler rocking in fetus position. Tyler, you have to do it. Courtney said before snarled at him, quit being such a girl. You have to do this or we're going to lose. I'm starting to think that she must be bipolar, datbayo. Naruto whispered to Owen and the large oaf nods back. After a while, Tyler ran out of the pen under 1 minute. It must be a really bad experience with chicken for the jock. Well, 2 more challenge to go, Naruto, we're still waiting for you. Chris chuckled and Naruto frowned. The redhead looked around to see his teammates rooting him on while the gophers tried to talk him out. He noticed Chef nods at him as the cooker hauling the crates. Fine, Naruto sighed before slowly get his shirt off as he think back to what Chef told him. That is a mark of survivor. With a yank, the shirt was off and everyone can see his scar for the first time. There were 3 long lines that overlap each other, meaning that he was stabbed 3 times in same place and with a large knife. Oh wow. Duncan gulped, it looks really bad and some of the campers winced at his scars. How did? Harold was about to ask him before Lashana elbowed him in stomach hard. Well, now we've got 1 challenge set up. Chris speaks up, redirecting everyone's attention from Naruto as he put his shirt back on. Who? Courtney blinked, it can't be me, but. Chris smirked at her, yeah, you didn't have to. We're always watching you and your reactions, green jello. Courtney gasped at Chris, how did they figure it out? I totally know it. Lindsay said, didn't I tell you guys, they were eavesdropping. Oh, who cares? Courtney sighed, it's not going to make a difference. Let's make this interesting then. Chris smirked, I'll give you triple points if you can complete it. The host led them to the spot where the CIT will face her fear and someone noticed that Naruto was going another way so the person decided to follow him. Lake. The redhead tossed the meats to his shark friends and sighed. Now everyone know that he has these scars and he hope it don't change anything. Whisker time. Naruto's eyes widened as the hands rubbing his cheeks, making him purring. Ooh, stop it, Izzy. Izzy giggled at his red face, what are you doing here? Naruto asked. Dunno. The crazy girl grinned before hugging him. Aye Izzy? If you think that scars of yours will change anything, you're wrong. Naruto blinked before looking into her green eyes. I'm sure that everyone was surprised at first but they will get over it soon and it won't really affect anything if you worried about that. Izzy grinned before nuzzling her nose into his chest. I still like you even if you have scars or not. You're you and the crazy girl tilted her head, trying to figure out what she says next. It's okay. Naruto smiled back with a little blush at her actions. I think I understand what you were trying to say. Thank for try to make me feeling better, Datbeo. Yep. There was silence between them but Naruto swears that he heard the sharks giggling at him. How long are you going to hug me for? The redhead asked, worried that someone will looking for them and it will be hard to explain to everyone if someone caught them and spending a rumor around the camp. Not unless I get my cuddle time. WWW what? Killer base cabin. Hey, dude, where were you? Duncan asked as Naruto show up in their room, drawing the other boys' attention. Oh, I was at the lake, Datbeo. The one with sharks? Tyler gulped. No campers ever went to the lake since the first team challenge due to sharks but it seems that only Redhead was able to go in without any worries. Yeah, that's the one. Naruto chuckled before he hops on his bed. So I take it that we lost, huh? It was a rhetorical question and DJ nodded his head. For a while no one said anything before someone breaks the silence. Not to be rude or cold. What kind of situation was it that you got these scars? Duncan. Dude. Owen gasped at the punk. What? I was just curious. Naruto gave a small frown before sighed. I guess it would come out soon since I'm sure the paparazzi are all over our homes by now. Everyone nodded. That was a small price to be on the TV show. All I can tell you just one thing. I'm going to say it once and I won't repeat it again. Get it? Fine with me. Duncan nods his head. He was just curious and the boys look uncomforted about it but they were curious too. Naruto sighed before muttering a word that no one said anything unless the campfire ceremony. Stalker, campfire. Chris decided to hand out the marshmallows to the campers until there was 2 marshmallows left because he don't want to say the same things over and over for now. There are 2 marshmallows left on this plate. Chris said as he looks at Bridget, Tyler, and Courtney for a good reason. The 3 of you did not complete your challenges today. One of you is going home tonight and cannot return, ever. Chris chuckled. The name I'm gonna call out is, Bridget. The surfer sighed as she collects her marshmallow for the day. The final marshmallow of the night goes to. Tyler bit his lips. Courtney squirmed in her seat. Chris smirked. Courtney. You'll get that chicken next time, dude. Duncan patted Tyler's shoulder. We'll miss you, dude. Naruto smiled at his jock friend. Tyler nods at them before walk sulkily to the dock of shame and take a ride. Everyone starts to make a chicken puns before the killer base raised their eyebrows as soon as they heard the jock screaming out in fear. Slowly everyone turns to their host with blank expressions. I sneaked in a few of chickens. Chris admitted with a grin. Screaming Gopher's cabin. Heather bit her lip as she tosses around in her bed. Every time when she saw Naruto's scars, she always can remember how close she loses him and what the doctor told her family this day. It was very fortunately that we got him in time. The doctor sighed. He should have died immediately if it wasn't for his dextrocardia, but he really lost a lot of blood. Heather's family stares at him. Right now he needs to be resting and recovering here for a while. Do you want to see him? Yes, please. Heather's voice quivers and the doctor nods at her. Doc, it has been a few days after their feared challenge and right now the teams were listening to Chris explaining their latest challenge. Bass, Gophers, today's challenge is a true summer camp experience, a canoe trip. Chris gesturing at the canoes on the shoreline. You'll be paddling your canoes across the lake, to Boney Island. He said the last part in spooky voice. Naruto was about to say something but Chris beat him by speaking again. When you get there, you must portage your canoes to the other side of the island, which is 2 hours hike through treacherous, dense jungle. We've got to pour what? Jeff raised his hand as if he was in class. Portage, Chris grumbled as he make air quote before seeing that the party boy don't understand him. Confession, a finest example of today's education. Chris pinched his nose bridge. The host sighed, dude, walk with your canoe. Oh, when you arrive at the other end of the island, you'll build a rescue fire that will be judged by me. The first team to paddle home and return their canoes to the beach is the winner of invincibility. Chris stares at them before ordered them to move and watch them run up to the beach. Oh wait, one more thing I should mention. The legend has it, if you take anything off the island, you'll be cursed forever. A thunder comes out of nowhere and everyone look around for it. Yeah, a cursed island. Owen laughed before blinks at everyone. He was only one that was exciting to visit a cursed island. Now get in your canoes. The host chuckled, and let's have some fun. Everyone walked off and Chris smirked before hearing a flush noise. He blinks, turning to see Beth ran up to him. What did I miss? Beth asked with a piece of toilet paper under her shoe. Canoe, Chris muttered before the farmer ran off. He hoped that she was there during the explanation because he don't want any curse to fall upon his show. Confession, Chris told us to pick a paddle partner. Cody grinned before sighed. I wish I was on Gwen's team, it's a perfect time to make a move. Static, I wish I was on Cody's team, I mean? Katie stammered, because he's good guy. Trent was about to ask Gwen to be his partner but Lindsay and Beth grabbed him before dragging him away from the goth girl. Trent, you have to come with us. Lindsay giggled. It was an order from Heather because she was afraid that the weird goth girl and girly boy was going to form an alliance. But Trent stammered as he glances over to Gwen to see her frown. The goth girl was sore about the last challenge because the musician forgot to dig her out for 10 minutes or so. Do you want to paddle with me? Gwen blinked, turns her head to see Katie before shrugging her shoulders. Fine, but I'm in charge. Gwen said and Katie nods with a smile. Heather was forced to work with Lashana, much to their dismay since Harold and Jeff decided to be partner. Bree-chan, want to team up? Naruto asked and Bridget shook her head. No, I'm going with Courtney. The surfer rubbed her arm. I just want to talk to her about, girl stuffs. Yeah, girl talk. Naruto blinked as he tilted his head, noticing that Bridget was nervous about something. Oh, sure, Bree-chan. Naruto smiled before turns to Cody as the geek walk up to them. Cody, want to join me? Cody gulped as he glances at Duncan. Sure. Anyone but Duncan. The redhead chuckled at the geek, knowing that the punk sometimes scares Cody but everyone know that Duncan's not bad guy when you know him long enough. I'll see you later, Bridget said as she ran off to grab Courtney before anyone. Naruto scratched his head as he looks at the geek. Is it me or does Bree-chan look more nervous than before? Naruto asked, earning a facepalm from Cody. Confession, sometime I want to scream at Naruto and tell him that Bridget like her but that would go against the rules of betting pool. Cody sighed. Yo, man, DJ gulps as he lightly kicks the canoe. Do canoes flip over a lot? Nah, I don't think so. Owen said as he pulls the canoe into the water. Izzy flipped into the canoe and turned to her partner, Duncan, with a grin. Just follow my technique. I'm 187th Cherokee, you know. Izzy puffs her chest out, which means, like, the tribe could totally claim me at any time. I hope it's today. Duncan deadpanned as he pushes the canoe. The girl was too crazy for him. After a while, Chris show up and check to make sure that everyone was in their own canoes before lifting a gun in air. On your marks, get set. He pulls the trigger, paddle. The host chuckled as everyone paddling away from the shore before a hawk fall down in front of his feet. That's gonna provoke some angry emails. Chris gulps. He hated when the PETA get in his faces, even overzealous members. Lake. And then these bushmen taught us how to properly catch and cook crocodile. Izzy giggled as she paddling across the water, as well as koala. Duncan groaned. Wish that he can switch his partner because this crazy girl kept telling him all of stories that might be a bullshit to him. Gwen growls as she watches Lindsay lie down on Trent's lap and he doesn't mind it at all. Her hands tightened on the paddle before a voice snapped her out of it. Gwen? Oh, what? Gwen muttered as she gazed at Katie. Can I ask you about something? Sure. And from this day, this guy kept screaming every time he sees a corncob, dat bayo. Naruto chuckled. You are so evil? Cody gaped at him with paled face and Naruto laughed harder before they both hear Gwen shrieked. What? You like CMMPH? The boys blinked before turns to Gwen's canoe as Katie covers the goth girl's mouth with a blush on her face. Huh? I wonder what happened. Cody muttered and the redhead agreed. Oh my gosh, Courtney, Bridget groaned. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what you mean. Courtney blinked at the surfer, unsure what she was talking about. Bridget sighed. It's Naruto, I'm starting to fall for him. Courtney blinked at her. I know it's only a few weeks but we just click very well, but I don't know how to tell him. I'm scared that I will ruin our friendship. Bridget know that she's a tomboy and have never think about getting in relationship before, but that was first time for her to feel this way and that's why she want to partnered with Courtney because the CIT will know what to say. Courtney stammered. Honestly I never have been in a relationship before but I know one thing. Bridget turns her head to the CIT. Naruto is a nice guy and I'm sure that he won't break your friendship over a confession. Yeah, you're right. And beside, I think you need to tell him when you find the right time to do. Bridget smiled at Courtney before give her nod. Hey, was that there early? DJ asked as the fog rolling in, making it hard to see anything for the teams. I don't think so. Owen gulps nervously. That was kind of creepy. Hey, I think I see Boney Island. Jeff said as the island come in their sight before everyone pulls up to the shore. Okay, did you see that skull? Izzy asked as she pointed at the mountain that looked like a skull. How cool is that? It's like this place is haunted or something. After she said it, a ghastly moan echoed out across the island, freaking some campers out. Let's just get this over with. Gwen sighed as the goth girl and Katie lift their canoe before the teams ran off with their canoes. Screaming gophers. Look like it's going to be one of these relaxing challenges. Heather thought as the gophers ran through the dead forest before a huge tree crashed in front of them. Harold screamed as the eyes pops up everywhere in the bushes. I think I saw something, gosh. A pack of huge beaver-like animals crawls out with snarls and roars. Monster beavers. The nerd wets his pant as everyone's screaming. Confession. A remnant of the Pleistocene era, Chris said. The woolly beaver is a day-active rodent indigenous to Boney Island. Oh yeah, and they're meat-eaters. The host chuckled with a wink. The woolly beavers chased the gophers as they ran past a confusing bear until Jeff cried out, dead end. They stopped in the middle of puddle with nests before turns around to see the beavers walk away with disappointment in their eyes. Hey, they're leaving. Trent sighed. Harold whined, did anyone pack a change of underwear? The gophers laughed at him. No, seriously, gosh. Oh. Everyone groaned in disgust before a herd of monster goose-like animals popped out of their own nests. I wish Idiot was here. Heather mumbled with widened eyes before she screams with her team as they ran off, chasing by the monster gooses. Someone do something. Gwen shouted but no one did anything so they just kept running until the gooses got tired of them. Killer base. Which way are we gonna go? DJ asked as they stand in the middle of fork paths. Left. Courtney said, definitely left. I don't know. Owen said doubtful. I think we should take the one on the right. Yeah, I agree with Big O. Naruto said. Bridget nods, the right trail is wider. Courtney sighed before the killer base team took the right trail. I can see the other team. Trent said as the screaming gophers ran right behind the other team. They're taking the path on the right, Gwen pointed out. Then let's go left. Trent grinned. The killer base team finally reaches their destination, only to find screaming gophers getting head start on them. I told you that we should take this left. Courtney groaned as the killer base quickly collecting the woods and piling them up. It wasn't long until the base team was the first to build fire and Heather gasped at them. How did they do that so quickly? The queen bee asked, only to see Duncan showing off his lighter. No rule against carrying lighters. Chris chuckled as he hovers above them in his personal helicopter. Edge, killer base. Unnoticed by the host and the campers, Beth stumbled upon a tiki idol. The farmer girl picks it up and places it inside her pocket. She doesn't know about Chris' warning before their challenge. What happened to Jeff? Naruto asked as he watches the party boy dragging himself across the beach with a stick in his hand. He has a splinter in his leg. Gwen deadpanned before Naruto chuckled. "Ah, I see, Duncan. Can I borrow your knife for a moment?" Duncan raised his eyebrow at the redhead before tossing the knife. Bro, what are you doing?" Jeff asked with quizzical expression. "Well, it's the only way to get Splinter out, Datbayo," Naruto said with a grin as the blade slid out, drawing an unmanly shriek from Jeff. Everyone stared at him before Heather smacked Naruto's head. "Idiot, you have weird sense of humor." Gomen, Naruto chuckled, tossing the knife back to the punk. "Confession, I admit that Naruto sometimes scared me." Duncan deadpanned, and that's saying something. "I don't think this is going to be big enough," Courtney said as she checks on the fire. "You heard the woman. DJ, speak up, we need more woods, guys." Harold gasped after checking out Bass's fire, and in his panic, he grabbed all the gopher's oars before throw them in gopher's fire. "What the fuck?" Gwen screamed as her team gasped in horror. "How the fuck are we supposed to get home now?" Heather roared at sweating Harold. "Wow, sucked to be you." Naruto snickered before Izzy popped up next to him with an odd ball. "Huh, Izzy, what's that?" The redhead raised his eyebrow. "Is that a sap or what?" "It's a handmade fire starter." Izzy giggled maniacal. "I made it from some tree sap and other things." She grinned at them. "Stand back, guys. That is gonna be big." Everyone walked backward away from her before she chucks it into the fire, causing a massive explosion. "Woo hoo hoo." Chris laughed as the pillar of fire shot past his helicopter. "We have our fire building winner, point for the base." "Wow, Izzy." Naruto turns to the soot-covered crazy girl. "I spent a summer training with the reserves." Izzy explained as she hopped up on her feet. "Yeah, I got into some trouble there and, blew up a kitchen by accident, which is why the RCMP is, all over my ass." Izzy hugged Naruto with a widened grin. "I am so totally AWOL." Naruto stared at Izzy with blank expression. Confession, is it me or does Izzy look hotter now than before? Naruto muttered with widened eyes. The teams return to their canoes and start to push them out into the water. Katie decided to help Gwen by tricking Lindsay and Beth into join her by promise some gossips about boys so the goth girl can partner up with Trent. "Now I own you one, Katie." Gwen forgets one thing that Heather just pointed out. "What are we going to do without paddles?" The queen bee growled as the gophers glared at Harold. "You guys can get someone to swim behind the boats and push them," Izzy said as she rose with Duncan. "I did this once for a guy's huge, 60-foot yacht. The whole crew had to flutter kick for 8 days to get to shore, and, 4 of us got eaten by sharks." Everyone stares at her with blank expressions until she waves bye to the gophers. "That might work," Beth said. "We need someone big enough to push." She trailed off, starting to notice that they don't have anyone big in their team. "Harold and Jeff will push us," Heather said with a glare, and no one argued with her since Harold caused it in first place and Jeff was slacking off even if he has a tiny splinter. "I totally know it." Gwen deadpanned and everyone nods as Chris smirked at them from the dock with Killer Bass. Harold gave up halfway, leaving Jeff to do all the work, but it ended up in vain. "The base are the winner." Chris chuckled as the gophers glared at him for stating the obvious. The host pulls a plate of marshmallows out of nowhere and chuckled at them. "And guess what? We're going to have elimination here and right now. But don't we have to vote first?" Harold whined as his team glares at him. "Just say the name of camper that you want to kick out." Chris ignored the nerd with a grin, and before the gophers say the name of camper, a RCMP helicopter shows up out of nowhere as it flashes spotlight on Izzy. "Izzy, we know you're down there." The voice rang out from the megaphone, "You are under arrest." "Wait, you mean all these bullshit you were talking was true?" Duncan blinked, gaping at the crazy girl. "Nope, just the RCMP part." Izzy pointed at the helicopter, "You'll never get me alive." She paused before pecked Naruto's cheek, earning a blushing from Redhead as a couple of certain campers snarl in silence. "See ya, Red." The crazy girl ran off with insanity laughter as the helicopter followed her into the forest. Due to unforeseen event, Chris slowly said, somewhat bewildered, instead of elimination, one of the Gophers will be kicked out and sent to Bass's team as replacement. Who do you want to send out? Harold. The Gophers said in unison as they glared at the nerd. Right, see you later? Chris slowly walks toward to his trailer and wants to forget what just happened. He was not only one that wants to forget the events as the campers return to their cabin beside Harold, who has to move his stuff to other cabin. Killer base cabin. The next day, the boys were sleeping in their beds before the noisy sound of helicopter flew past overhead, startling Duncan. Attack. They're coming, man, they found us. Who? Naruto said drowsy. Screaming Gopher cabin. Ooh. Lashana growled, that guy is really starting to get on my last nerve. Whatever. Heather rolls her eyes, he just loves to ruining our morning. The queen bee snapped her fingers. Beth, Lindsay, go warm up the shower for me, now, and remember. Not too hot this time, I know. Beth yawned. Communal bathroom. Naruto chuckled as he watches the girls squirming in front of the communal bathroom. He knows how Heather gets after living with her family for a few years. The loudspeaker squeaked before Chris' voice speaks out of it. I hope you're ready for the most challenging challenge yet. Breakfast in 3 minutes at the campfire pit. Heather? Beth called out as she knocking the door. Can one of you come in here and lotion my back? Heather asked from inside, it's peeling. The girls slowly back away from the bathroom. Sure, I'll come in. Naruto said. There was pause in air as the girls look at him. No. Heather's voice shouted. Huh? Why? We already bathed together before, dat bayo. The redhead blinked as the girls gasped. Did they have this kind of relationship? WWW when we were 6. You idiot, Heather roared. If anyone was inside with her, they would see her face turns red. That's different now. Really? Naruto tilted his head as the surfer sighed out of relief. Wow, you're really idiot? Lashana deadpanned. Campfire. Are you ready for today's Extreme Max Impact Challenge? Chris said excitedly. We are ready. Woo. Owen laughed before the host throws a can with cry of incoming. The can flew toward Gwen before Trent caught it from hitting her face. That is breakfast. Chris chuckled as he tossed more cans to the campers. No, breakfast is crepes, croissants, even chef's crappy burnt eggs, and ram. Heather stopped her sentence with a frown, and before anyone can ask her what she was going to say, Owen starts to singing. Beans, beans, they're good for your heart. Owen giggled, the more you eat, the more you. The can smacked into his forehead, knocking the oaf out. Today's challenge is about survival. Chris smirked, acting as if he doesn't just beamed Owen. We're going hunting. The host pulled out a paintball gun and grinned at the campers. Now that's more like it. Duncan grinned, can't wait to shoot with the gun. Isn't that a paintball gun? Harold asked, and Chris resists to saying, no shit. Sherlock, anyone can tell that it's a freaking paintball gun, but he managed to keep his host smile on. Why yes, Harold, it is. The host said before he pointed the gun at Harold and fired it, sending the nerd to the ground with paint splatter on his chest. So we won't be killing anything? Bridget asked with crossed arms. Negatory. Chris answered, this is the first ever paintball deer hunt. I'll announce the teams once we get into the woods. He turns his head to the campers, so finish breaky. A huge burp cut Chris off and everyone turns to see Owen, surrounded by empty cans. Get any more? The oaf sighed joyously. Woods. The group stands in front of Chris and a toolboard with multicolor paintball guns. And now for the team breakdowns. The killer base hunters are Bridget, Harold, Owen, and Naruto, Chris announced as he tosses the green paintball guns to the mentioned Bass. Locked and loaded with base blue paint. Woo-hoo. Owen cheered, this is awesome, man. And using orange paint are Gophers hunters. The host smirked as soon as he heard Naruto's whining, that's for interrupting me many times. Chris thought before resuming his speech, Lashana, Beth, Lindsay, and Jeff. The Gophers caught their pink paintball guns before he puts on his camo hat and orange safety glasses. You also get these styling glasses and wicked camo caps. The rest of you are now deer. Say what? Gwen mumbled to herself. Chris opened the crate behind him and holds up an antler headband, fake tail and a red nose. Here are your antlers, noses, and little whitetails. The host said as he wiggled his tail in Camper's direction before chuckled to himself. Yeah, right, I'm not wearing that. Heather scowled. But I think you should make a cute doe, datbayo. Naruto chuckled, never noticed the blush on the queen bee's face. There is no way I'm a deer. Duncan grunted, disappointing that he don't get chose to be a hunter. Chris ignored the punk as he forced the deer gears on Duncan. Take these off and your team is totaled. The host grinned at the punk and Jeff laughed at Duncan. What are you looking at? Duncan growled at the party boy. Nothing, bro. Jeff snickered. You'd better take a good shot, slacker. Duncan threatened with his finger in Geoff's face. And you may go to your starting spots. Chris chuckled as the teams went their separate ways. Killer base deer. The 4 base deer was walking through the forest before Courtney sighed. At least we get a head start. I don't know about y'all but I'm outta here. DJ said, he know it is bad idea to stay in a group because it's possible that the gophers hunters will take them out in one swoop. The giant turns around and starts to gallop off on his 4 limbs. Duncan dropped his jaw. He knows that it's impossible for human to do that but DJ just prove him wrong. Screaming gophers deer. Heather was sitting on the tree stump, filing her nails as she watched Katie separated herself from the group. Are you coming? Gwen asked and the queen bee scoffed at her. No, I'm going to wait for Lindsay and Beth and make them protect me for the whole game. Wouldn't that be against the rules? Gwen asked as she placed fists on her hip. Do you see a rules person anywhere? Heather said sarcastically, worry about your own fluffy tails. Fine. Gwen rolled her eyes as she walked off with Trent. Don't go mushy on Naruto if he caught you. WW what are you talking about? Heather snarled, earning a tiny smirk from Goth Girl. You're not only one who read another person's diary. Gwen snickered inside her mind. Confession. Why everyone just kept assuming that I have a crush on Idiot. Heather groaned, there's nothing going on here. The queen bee paused before fixing her antler headband. Is there any chance that I can keep these? Her eyes widened, and not because of what Idiot just said. It's because I think they are cuter. Heather stuttered with a little blush on her face. Killer base hunters. After going over their strategy, they put their hands together and raised them with a cheer. And break, Harold said before the boys put their glasses on but Bridget looked unsure about the challenge. Okay, you do realize that this is all just pretend, right, and it's just paint? The nerd told the surfer before give her a smirk, like if you, hit Heather? Bridget cut him off, wait. Heather is a deer? She starts to chuckling, putting on her safety glasses and Naruto grinned at her. That's the spirit, datbayo. I'm glad that you're doing this for fun. Naruto chuckled as the boys deadpanned at him. Does he not know that there's reason why Bridget want to attack Heather? Screaming gophers hunters. Start your paintballs. Chris spoke out of the loudspeaker, game on. All right. Beth laughed, let's go bag some deer. Ha ha, I am down with that. Lashana chuckled and Jeff smirked. Yeah, I'm so psyched to hunt them down. He chuckled before ran off alone. Why do boys always have to be gun crazed? Lashana rolled her eyes, earning a nod from Bombshell and Farmer. Lindsay. The Bombshell was searching for the berries on Heather's order. She and Beth met the queen bee a while ago before Lindsay got her order from the leader of Alliance. She hummed as she collecting the berries out of the bush before hearing a rustling sound and quickly grabs her paintball gun. WW who's there? Lind? The voice called out as Lindsay blushed, realizing the voice of her crush. Is that you? The person walks out and chuckled, I thought you were the deer. Yeah, me too. Lindsay giggled, I almost shot you. He, yeah. He paused before look at her, what are you doing? Oh, I'm getting some berries for Haley. The Bombshell offers him some berries, want some? Sure. Lindsay giggled as she watches him eating the berries. It's been a while since we talked. When was the last time we talked again? Just a few days ago when we were having dinner. Lindsay tapped her chin, remembering that they always talked during the suppers but they both got busy with other stuffs. Right. He nods before sighed, I miss talking to you. Lindsay blushed when he told her that. Yeah, me too. They both stand around in awkward silence before she speaks up. I better go back to Hillary before she gets mad again. Oh, yeah? See you, Lind. He waves at her as he walks off to hunting for the gopher's deer. don't even remember that Heather is the deer in first place. Yeah, see you, Otis. Lindsay blushed as she watches Owen disappeared into the wood. Naruto and Bridget. Man, I don't see any deer for a while, Datbayo. Naruto sighed, scanning the woods for any signs of Gopher's deer as Bridget nodded. Harold decided to go another way to see if he can find any deer, so it was just them alone together in the forest and they were fine with it. Yeah, it's weird that we don't come across anyone for a while. The surfer said, she know it was a big forest but it is still weird that they don't find anyone yet. Bridget glanced at Naruto before thinking to herself, shall I say it now or wait until after the challenge? She bit her lips before nods to herself. Naruto, I need to? Shush. Naruto shushed, I see Heat-chan ahead of us. Bridget blinks, starting to notice Heather sitting on the stump as the queen bee yelling at Beth in distance. Shall I shoot or do you want to? Naruto asked before smirking. Bridget fired her paintball gun twice and it hit Heather's arm. Whoever you are, this is so not cool. Heather growled as she looks around, never noticed the retreating hunters. Nice one, Bree-chan. Naruto laughed as the surfer joined him in laughter. DJ. The giant dodged another paintball as he galloped up the giant cliff, chasing by Jeff. Early, the party boy found DJ in the clearing and was about to ambush the deer, only to step on the twig and alerted DJ to his position. Get back here, Jeff shouted as he shot another paintball at DJ. The giant dodged it again before skidded to stop in front of the edge of the cliff and gulps at the height. Jeff laughed, you're mine now, deer. DJ sweats as Jeff aimed his gun at the deer and pulled it, only to have it clicking. DJ glared at Jeff, I'm out? Jeff nervously chuckled as he rubs his head before DJ drop-kick him off the cliff and into the lake. The giant grinned at the soaking party boy before kicking the dirt in air and galloping off again. Killer base hunters. The four hunters found each other and agreed to go together since the game is going to be over soon since it has been almost more than 2 hours. They were talking about how Owen come close to bag some deer, only to be fouled by his own farts, and laughed when Owen let out a fart before they overhear someone fighting with other. Huh? Sound like Heat-chan. Naruto muttered before they peek out of the bushes to see Lashana and Beth shooting at Heather while she was shooting back, and the killer base hunters raised their eyebrows at each other before shot their paintball guns at the fighting trio. Jeff. The party boy sighed as he walked throughout the woods after dried off. He was lucky that the sharks were not around this time. Huh? He blinked, noticing a pile of berries, and shrugged his shoulders. He was really hungry. Jeff starts to eating them, unawake that a bear stand right behind him until he finally turns around and screaming. Confession. The bear was eating berries off his claws, wearing a camo hat and safety glasses. Camp. Tisk. 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 Chris shook his head. He just called all the campers back to tally up the team's score and only to find out that his challenge was really messed up. Stealing from Chef, eating chips in woods, being mauled by a bear. Chris said as Chef wrapped the bandage on wheelchair-bounded Jeff. Honestly, the party boy have no idea about the first two, but the host believed it was him since the empty bag, tossed by Beth in first place, were found near Jeff at this time. Do you know what I see here? Chris asked with a glare as the campers looked down on the ground. Some was staring at injured Jeff. A bunch of teenagers? Naruto said, and the host sighed at him. No, I see a very undisciplined group. Chris turns his head to Gophers. I see a disgraceful mess. I see a massive waste of paint product, and I have to say. Chris, take a deep breath, that was awesome. Say what? Everyone beside Jeff cried out. Chris pointed at Gopher team with a laugh. When you guys opened fire on your own team, wicked TV, guys. Hey, where are Duncan and Courtney? Harold asked before the mentioned campers walk in with their antlers locked together, causing some campers to laugh at the sight. Oh, this is too much. Gwen smirked. Duncan, you sly dog, you. Owen catcalled. The punk wiggled his eyebrows. The girl can't keep her antlers off me. That earned him a kick to groin from Courtney, and the males winced at his agony. Can't even bend over? Duncan groaned out. Easy, Courtney. Chris said, our medical tent's really only equipped for one at a time, and Geoff's pretty messed up. Naruto and Bridget helped separating the CIT and punk from their antlers locking. Well, since 3 members of the Gophers are dripping in paint. Lindsay cut him off by turns around to reveal that she got shot in back, make that 4 members. And some of them aren't even deer. I think we have our winner. Chris glared at Gophers before grinned at the cheering Killer Bass members. You're off to a hunting camp shindig. Woo! Duncan whined before dropping on his knees, holding his family jewelries. Gophers, I'll see you at the campfire ceremony. Chris rolled his eyes, again. Campfire? I mean, seriously, twice in a row? Heather scoffed at her team. What is wrong with you people? I can't wait to see Beth get kicked off. The said farmer gulps as the queen bee glared at Lashana with crossed arms. I just wish I could vote off 2 campers at once. Confession. I know I just got mauled by a bear. Jeff chuckled in his wheelchair, but I'm feeling good about this. This Heather chick has a lot of issues with Gophers and I'm sure I'm safe this time. Static. I totally admire Belle for standing up to Heather, Lindsay said. Finally get the queen bee's name right, but she's so dead now. There are only 7 marshmallows on this plate. Chris said as he shows them the plate, when I call your name, come up and claim your marshmallow. The camper, he was cut off again by Gwen as she droned, who do not receive a marshmallow must immediately return to the dock of shame, catch a boat of losers and leave. The goth girl sighed, can't we just get this over with? Damn you, Naruto? Chris glared at the campers, fine. Whatever. Spoil the moment. He tossed the marshmallows at the campers with glare. Trent, Lindsay, Katie, Gwen, Lashana, Beth. Oh, come on. Heather mumbled to herself with a sneer. Now it's down to between Jeff and Heather. Campers, this is the final marshmallow tonight. Chris said, holding up the final marshmallow. Heather licks her lip with worried expression on her face. Jeff glances at the marshmallow before turns his eyes to Heather. Chris just stares at them with poker face before said dully, Heather. The host jumped as soon as Heather grabs the marshmallow and glowering over her team with a deep growl. You're all lucky, okay? Very lucky. The Gophers gasped out in fear as she stomped away. Jeff, the dock of shame awaits, bro. Chris said dully, not affected by Heather's anger. Quote. The host just realized that Jeff can't move at all. I guess we can help you get there. Chris smirked, Chef? Yeah. Chef muttered as he pushed Geoff's wheelchair toward the dock of shame and tosses him into the boat before it sailed off. Why is he in a nurse uniform? Trent said with green face. And wearing a blonde wig? Gwen shivered. That's his punishment. Chris smirked evilly as the Gophers blinked at him. What punishment? I told these fools to erase this part. Chef glared at the sweating camera crew.
That's all for now. If you want to see next part, then please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.